second way for air to get in and out.
And they can also put it out.
No, but the fire is going to be at the top of the cave. Mostly what we're going to be relying on is the carbon monoxide poisoning to drive them out.
That rely on lack of oxygen to do complete combustion.
So you think enough carbon monoxide will spread before they see the bright light in the dark cave and put it out with the raging river they have next to them?
Well, the plan is for us to be near the fire and constantly feeding it. That's why it's called Operation Bonfire. The fire is just going to be so huge and putting off so much carbon monoxide.
You have to actually get rid of oxygen input to get carbon monoxide. So if we're feeding it, it's not going to get carbon monoxide. It's just going to get carbon dioxide, which is still bad. It's still going to smoke them out, but you're not going to get carbon monoxide.
Well, either way, they're still not going to want to stay in the cave when there's constant smoke coming in.
Yeah, it's just smoking them out. Yeah, that will work. But
we just have to set up at a choke point that they have to go by. So if this tunnel leads towards the cavern, I guess right around here.
The plan is to make them have to come to the point. So the second they get through the fire and the flames, they're immediately going to be caught up with us.
I can also throw down my ball bearings on the other side of the fire, so if they do run right through it, they'll slip and maybe they'll fall over the edge of this ledge here.
Yeah, so we can set up a trap. Also, Dungeon Master, since Elric is here, do you want to go ahead and introduce him?
Yeah, sure. So Elric, you've entered into this cavern. I'll tell you a little bit about it. There's the main entrance, which follows a stream, and there's a plank bridge across the stream that leads into a cavern in the left. That's where everyone is currently as you walk in. That's all that's been seen so far. In this cavern, there's a number of dead goblins and a couple of dead wolves. The last goblin had been charmed by the wizard, and you're all discussing your next plan. You've also got a wounded Sildar Hallwinter, the human who had been escorting Gundren Rockseeker, has been found and stabilized.
Have we noticed him yet?
Yeah.
Well,
so,
the party?
If you guys want to run through introductions again, or just kind of take what had happened last time as your introductions now.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
bit of a mix and match.
Into
the spider. Who are you? I've never seen you before.
I'm just kind of. I don't want nothing trouble. Who are you? And is this you people? Is all the dead things you?
Yes, we are currently working on vacating the goblins and Clarg from the cave. Well, very least Clarg.
I was told I'd be the only one here. Well,
we have a plan to smoke out the Clarg. Would you like to assist us in this plan?
What's a Clarg?
It's a bugbear that is currently ruling this cave.
I was sent here to kill goblins, not.
Well,
the goblin looks like he's readying his weapons at this point.
No, goblin.
Oh, it's an enemy.
Sword.
Friends, protect me.
Relax.
Casually walking to the goblin with my sword out.
He's got a bow trained on you.
We're going to use this goblin to kill more goblins.
What's this about killing goblins?
You're gonna use.
We're killing Clarg. No goblin killing.
You're gonna use a
no
goblin.
Yeah, Clarg, of course.
So
I'm kind of like.
The goblins will be my subordinates.
Yeah.
Leave as many alive as possible.
Yes.
I understand if there's some casualties.
That's just
Goblin guy, do you have a name, goblin thing?
My name is Yenik. What's it to you, elf?
Listen here, Eunuch, and I'm a half-elf. I take pride in that. Listen, Eunuch. I don't promise nothing. If I get attacked by goblins, I'm killing goblins. Just saying.
Alright, just target Clarg first.
I'll target who hits me first. But Clarg...
Also, do you think the wolf
will be my main target.
I say we send this goblin into that cavern, tell him to bring out as many of his friends he can in 5 minutes, give us time to set up the trap, and if he doesn't return in 5 minutes, we set the fire and kill them all.
I'm just kind of like looking at Trenton, like, stop saying the things you're saying.
Well, we got the guy. We can actually just kill this goblin. He's not used to us anymore.
Yeah,
no. I kind of mouth to Trenton, do it, but I don't say it out loud.
I run up and swing my warhammer.
The goblin is beginning to back away from your group, back towards the ledge.
I grab, like, no, I don't grab, but I step in, like, the goblin's way a little bit.
You're coming from the other direction. He's backing off away from you.
Oh, I thought I was in, like, closer proximity.
Does this go deeper into the cave where he's backing up into, or no? Is it a dead
Nope,
end?
just pretty much a dead end at this ledge.
Can I get close and swing my warhammer at him?
You run up to him, and he goes and jumps off of the ledge. And let's see how he does.
This 20 feet, right?
The ledge is only 10 feet up.
Alright.
But he doesn't manage to make a solid landing. And you hear a sharp grunt from the bottom of the ledge.
Are you dead?
I basically mouth charades up and prepare to fire a ray of frost if he tries to move.
If I can see him, I'm casting Sacred Flame on him.
Okay, so you all lean over the edge, and he has fallen prone at the bottom next to the campfire, and he's starting to make his way up, and he's scrambling towards the other exit to this cavern that was next to where the fire had been. You all do manage to make any attacks that you'd like in the time that he's standing up and moving there.
I'm shooting an arrow at him.
Okay, go ahead.
DC 14 save. I want to know whether I need to hit them.
I gotcha. All right, so let me think. He is currently prone, which I believe
5.
gives him disadvantage. Nope, it actually doesn't. All right. But he rolled a natural 1, so
Ooh, I gotta my arrow.
Let's just with your arrow. Actually, prone targets are disadvantaged to hit with arrow.
Oh, alright. So.
8 then. If he
8. Okay.
Damn,
You rolled it. You rolled an 8 on an 8.
Yeah.
Shit.
The highest that I have in this whole campaign.
All right. He's badly burned and now struggling to crawl up from his position on the ground in order to escape. What did you say? So with disadvantage, it was.
With disadvantage, 17.
17, so it still hits. So he takes this arrow after being burned by the flames and just and drops and stops, and he reaches his last hand out, and then it falls.
I take a second to collect my warhammers. I mean my hand axes.
Okay, so you collect your 2 hand axes, Trenton.
Well, I was hoping.
Wow, we really just went all in on that guy, didn't we?
If he had escaped, it could have been problematic. Plus, we probably wouldn't get paid as much, so.
Yeah, but we didn't need to ISO burn him, then shoot him in the head with an arrow. I mean,
where's the fun in that?
I guess so.
Overkill is better than no kill.
You people are. I never got your names. I only got Yeeby.
Relier.
Relier, Ice Boy. All right.
Trenton, the 10 Towns.
Orion, Cleric Dwarf.
All right, the dwarfs. And what about you, human person?
Are you talking to me? And Sildar pipes up.
No, you don't look as important as them. Talking about the fighter right there.
Oh.
Well, they stripped me of my goods. Otherwise, I wouldn't be in such a mean state.
Well, that's.
Well, we're gonna try to get the goods for.
Bah, if I gave you a weapon, you wouldn't use it anyway. You're ready to leave.
Why are
Yes, I've not had a very good many days here.
No,
I bet you'd want to leave as well if you'd been tortured.
Oh, what?
No,
Not a
I'm
dwarf.
pretty used to
Never.
Torture's
I disavow.
nah.
So you can't fight at all.
I can fight if you need it.
Do you want a crossbow?
What can you fight with?
Crossbow will work. You don't happen to have any spare armor, I suppose.
I have a spare crossbow. I can give it to you.
All right.
So
What is it? Light crossbow, right? It's a light crossbow, right? All right.
Yeah, it's a light crossbow. I'm going to lend it to you. You have to return it.
Fine. That's fine. He takes it and kind of, you can see him weighing it and turning it around and kind of seems to be very, very familiar with this weapon and practice with it. But you can see him kind of growl as it's not quite what I'm used to, but it'll do.
All right, I want to collect some material.
Who's doing what now?
Yes, you went here for that. Operation Bonfire. We're going to smoke them out, trap them, ambush them, and kill them all.
Really, go ahead and give me an intelligence check.
Just a straight intelligence?
Yep.
Alright. That's a 12.
12. Thinking this plan through and knowing that there's water that's being drawn from the mouth of this cave and there must be some other entrance or exit where this water is coming from, and that may be blowing some wind out of the mouth of the cave following the stream. You're worried about the length of time it will take for a fire to make any kind of meaningful impact on the amount of smoke that would fill this cave. You're also unsure about the size of this cave and how long or how easily the smoke would dissipate.
Did you by chance ask that goblin where Clark might be?
We did it at the approximation of the throne room. From what we have, there are somewhere from another 5 to 7 goblins, a wolf, and the bugbear Clark.
All right. I say what we do is we scout out the next pathway, and if we think it's safe, we go in. If we don't, we come out and we try to think of something. Because I don't trust dark places, even though I can see in the dark.
That's fair. I start summoning my weasel to view the next passage, or list it next to guess.
Where's the next? Where would I be able to see where the next place to go is? The next entryway
of the rooms that you've seen so far. This was a side passage off of the main tunnel that followed the stream. There is one other exit from this room at the bottom of the ledge that eunuch was scrambling for. You don't know where that leads.
I say we follow the direction that goblin was going.
I guess. I'm gonna go ahead and send Philip that way.
What's that thing?
This is my weasel, Philip. He's quite good at scouting and quite a good companion as well.
Alright, you send him in first, I guess.
Alright then.
I'll go.
Okay. You send Philip.
I will say, Philip can't see very well, so if you want to act as a sort of guide for Philip, you could also do that.
Jeez, I don't like him. It's fine.
I'm going to give guidance to Philip.
Okay.
Philip a bit more.
All right. So Philip and Elric are going ahead into this tunnel.
Philip's taking the joyride on Elric and just listening and smelling.
And I'm gonna stealth my way in there, and then try and look around.
Okay. Elric, go ahead and make a stealth check for me. So dexterity stealth.
I always forget what that one is. Right.
So +5. You're proficient, which adds a 2, and your dex adds 3.
10.
10? Okay.
Yeah.
So you make your way ahead, and with your dark vision, you can see that this tunnel continues up. And as you make your way up, you can start to hear loudly the rushing of the stream from the mouth from this exit that you see ahead. You come, and and this is a tunnel that meets back up with where the stream is, and there's another plank bridge that is crossing back to the path on the right side.
All right. Can I look around to see if there's
Well, right now I'm stuck with a bunch of people who want to.
Yeah, go ahead and make a perception check.
Hook and cranny and set a trap for every single enemy, and they're so indecisive.
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm yawning.
They can't hear me right now.
Oh, sorry, I'm used to mine. There we go. 17.
17. So the path to your right continues back down towards the entrance following the stream. The path to your left continues up to you're not sure how far. And the cave walls are rough, and the tunnel does curve. There are places to hide, some stalagmites and different bends and twists in the cave's wall might be able to hide someone or give them cover.
Hold on, please.
Nope.
There it is.
So, yep, you're seeing the rough walls of the cave where things could potentially hide. You take a listen and you look around. You don't see signs of any enemies in this main passage, though.
Okay.
Does my weasel hear anything?
Go ahead and make a perception check for your weasel.
Is it with advantage?
Yep.
All right. There's an 18.
Okay, you hear the rush of the stream and you hear the crashing of what you imagine to be a waterfall that you had thought earlier from somewhere further up this passage.
With this magic dice
All
from
right.
last session. Just to verify, are we checking the side passage the goblin went down when he released the wolf?
Yes.
So we're not checking one directly
So
in front of us.
No, so both the side passage that you used to enter the cave where you had the cavern where you had the fight, and the one that they had just left through, both connect to that main passage with the stream.
Okay, so we know it's here because we just came through here.
Elric, are you going to continue across the stream and further up, or are you going back to the group?
I'm gonna go back to the group. And I'm not
All
doing
right.
nothing, I'm just gonna walk back.
All right. You make your way back to the. There was a name for this, but just the Goblin Den.
I didn't see any sign of enemies, but who knows? But there seems to be in the passageway another sort of plank bridge and then a way forward upward. So that's the only option I see of where to go. And if you come up with a better idea, please.
All right. So Operation Bonfire still is on the table. How much it works, it will vary, and it could possibly alert them, but it could also work wonders depending on how well we set it up.
Let's do it. Set the fire.
All right, all in favor of bonfire? Put your vote in.
I'm gonna have to vote against it. The wind and the
All
water
right,
just...
that's 1 nay. Orion?
I guess if we can even lure them over here, as in attract them to here because we cause too much noise, we still have a kind of home ground advantage of we are already here and they're coming to us.
So is that a yay? Or...
So I'd rather they come to us than we go to them.
All right, that's 1 yay. I give it a yay. Rykard?
I don't think it'll work, but if it does, it's a very good idea.
Okay, 1 maybe. And Trenton?
Let's do it.
All right, Rykard, Eldrick, were there any other suggestions you both wanted to give rather than Operation Bonfire?
Let's fucking do it!
No, it's either that or just go in. I'd rather try the saver option first.
Would it be possible?
You go ahead.
Would it be possible to just make a ruckus and then they come to us while we're hiding in this area, and then if they come in, then we start shooting them? Basically, do the goblin approach.
We could do that. However, that would mean we wouldn't know how many of them would come. If we're unlucky, we could get a lot of goblins or even Clog himself. Which, even if we did have a surprise attack on them, may not go well.
These are goblins. And
imagine they'd get at least a little bit hurt.
I mean, isn't that essentially our plan anyway, to get them to run to us no matter how many there are?
Yeah, every situation we're coming up with, it's very likely we'll run straight into this Clark. But
yes, but what they
might, they're goblins, so we don't know what traps they have set up.
And that is the point of this strategy, is to avoid their traps and their possible ambushes. Though I believe we could cause a ruckus as well as do the bonfire if you wanted to do that. Or if there's a specific reason you believe the bonfire would be disadvantageous to just making a ruckus, then I'd be willing to hear that.
I just feel like because this is a stream passageway cave, that the smoke, it'll either take an extremely long time to do anything to them, or it'll get sucked out by the other side of the cave. So
it is always an option, but if our other plan is to make a rocket, either way, we could at least expect them to try to come out, even if they didn't have enough of effect to make them run out of the cave. They'd want to come out to inspect what's happening. So either it would work and it would cause them to get maybe a bit hurt along the way, maybe some burns trying to get out of the way of the fire, maybe out of breath from the smoke. If it doesn't, they'll probably still want to investigate the odd smell and the thickness of the air in the room.
If we're doing bonfire, I'm going to, while waiting for them, rest. You guys can look up for them.
Yeah, I don't think we should leave the cave when we do the bonfire, because if they just put it out and they don't leave, then
the plan is to set an ambush.
Yeah, but what if they don't? Okay, let's do it.
All right, yays and nays. Is there anyone whose mind has changed?
If anyone changes mind, I'm going back to town right now. I promise you, with the guy, and I'm taking the gold, and I'm going to another town.
I like your optimism. All right, so who's going to be on, I guess, fuel gathering duty?
I'll gather wood. I'll go out and I'll gather wood.
All right, and then I'll probably be here starting the fire using prestidigitation to light it up, get it flaring up, keep it going where it needs to go, all that such. Odian, if you want to try to get a little bit of a rest in, I don't know if you'll be able to get a very long rest, but you might be able to get a few breaths in if that's really what you want to do.
It's just I think it will take a while, so I might as well rest.
Then, just be noticed.
I'll set sticks and leaves across the entry and exit ways so we can hear them coming.
All right, and I believe one of you said you had ball bearings.
Yes.
You might want to throw those out as well, just as an extra little obstacle for them to deal with.
So where exactly are we setting this bonfire? Like, is it on uphill, downhill, 10 feet out of the cave, 10 feet in the cave?
It'll be in the cave to where they can only exit. So that if they want to get out of the cave or get out of the way of the smoke, they're going to have to come into contact with the bonfire. It's essentially going to be a firewall that they have to get past, quite literally.
Okay, so how much wood do I have to collect to set a firewall along the breadth of the opening of the cave?
We're probably going to have to get quite a bit. So we'll wait till we have a good supply, get that going, and then we'll keep adding to it. And after a certain period of time, we can decide whether that's going to work or not and plan our actions accordingly.
All right. I'll try and see if I can set any traps, so in this cave doesn't look like there's many options for traps unless any of you have some sort of oil and match or something.
We have 6 Molotov cocktails.
You just have Molotov. All right, that'll work. Can I use 2 of them?
I think when they start running out, we should all have action ready and throw them at the first ones.
My thought was that I have quite a lot of rope, and I could tie it up, and if they trip it or step on it, or even really change its pressure at all.
Well, we can do the rope or the ball bearings, but both are trips, so which one?
We could also do both.
All right.
Okay, both.
Put the ball bearings on the cliff.
And I do have one particularly powerful spell that I'm going to try to save, particularly for Clog. So once they start, if and when they start coming up, I'm going to try to save that and prepare it and get a bit far away just so I don't get, well, immediately shot. That would not be particularly fun.
All right, 1 Molotov will be enough if I can just use 1. And I can use my rope to set up a trap under the leaves. So when they step on the leaves, they'll step on the rope. The Molotov will drop down when they get close enough.
All right. You can work on it.
It's rifle? No, it's...
So this will be...
It's lighted with prestidigitation. Molotov still require lighting, so is Renee going to light it if they activate?
They're probably going to be busy holding a chromatic orb for...
My thought was to have it, because it's a Molotov. So
hey, Relier. Just I heard you talking about it. I wasn't sure if you were talking about chromatic orb or burning hands. You do not have the components necessary to cast chromatic orb at this time.
Do I not?
You need a diamond that's worth at least 50 gold.
Okay.
I have... All right, my thought with the Molotov was I have 50 feet of rope. The Molotov won't set the oil on fire until the bottle is broken. So we light it as high in the cave as we can to where they won't see it. And when they step on the rope, the pressure pulls down, lets go of the bottle, crashes onto them.
Cool. That works.
All right.
All right, so does everyone have their positions? Any questions? Any recommendations? Traps? Thoughts? Any of that?
Yeah, I'm going to set up... First thing I'm going to do is set up the Molotov trap and just do a very small spark onto the cloth so that the flame will gradually get bigger and give us time so that it doesn't burn out. And then set leaves over all the entryways and over the rope.
Okay, what are you setting with this Molotov trap, and where?
Yeah, because I'm confused.
So the main way past the cliff, because you said that the only way forward, there was only really one way forward, right?
Well, there was a main passage up.
Okay, I just want to set it the main passage, just in like the entryway, a good few feet in front of the bonfire.
Okay, and you're rigging it how? To do what?
So basically, I'm tying it to the edge of a stalactite, and it's 50 feet, so it's plenty.
Okay.
I'm tightening it and making sure it has a lot of pressure, but it's close to the ground. I'm giving it just enough room to be through, kind of not tied onto the bottle. But do you know what a loose knot is? It's
basically it's some kind of a tripwire.
Yeah, it's a knot that holds until it's pulled.
Okay.
That any amount of pressure on it will drop the Molotov.
All right.
And I'm just gonna spread my ball.
And how many are you to this trap?
Just one, so that I can still have at least 25 feet of rope left.
Okay. It'll drop the oil, but it'll need to be lit.
Well, it's a Molotov, so I was gonna have it lit already with a small light.
Okay. It'll only stay lit for so long before it just...
Can you give me a time frame?
I'll probably roll for it, because Molotovs are meant to be lit and thrown. They're not really like... They're not really on a timer.
Yeah, they're not ticking time bombs. You guys don't understand explosives at all.
For stuff that even I wouldn't really know how to... It's a bit random, even for the world itself, to know exactly how long a particular Molotov will go off after it's been lit. Unless one of you happens to know in the real world how long it would take something to reach that.
For if it's a cloth Molotov, it takes about, if you're doing a small light, just a spark into the cloth and letting it burn over, because even that spark will light the whole thing. It can take up to 5 minutes, as long as the cloth is completely dry outside of the bottle. But if you're using hay or any kind of like string material.
Okay. If it's lit, it's going to be real easy to see.
It's an ember light. So if you're saying that,
I'm gonna use that. Thanks, Jacob.
Fully lit, fine. But my thought was an ember light.
Google says it takes 7 seconds.
And again, for the purposes of this, and Molotovs aren't quite a thing in this world. They're more like, there's alchemist fire, there's other things. If it was alchemist fire dropping on somebody, then it wouldn't be a problem, because it's just built to do that kind of thing. These are real jury-rigged, makeshift, we stuck a cloth in an oil flask kind of a thing. So that's why I'd probably even roll for it to see exactly how long it would take to light. There's no way to accurately gauge how long it would take, unless you go ahead and light one. Maybe you could get a better idea of how long it would take.
Then I'll just have it there, and then when we make the fire, have an extra long stick to throw over there for whoever has enough strength.
It'd be easy just to throw the Molotov cocktail.
But it's a trap. That'll set oil all over them if it falls on them.
I mean, we could always
while they're running through fire.
They're not going to be running into the bonfire. Dumb are dumb, but not that dumb.
The whole point of Molotov is that you got oil all over you, therefore you burn. So
listen, I'm a rogue. I set traps. That's what I do. I was just trying to set a trap.
No, I got you. It's just setting a trap using these makeshift things that have to be lit in order to work.
We could always just pour the oil out when we see the goblins coming, or like just throw the oil flask through the bonfire to like basically create a floor of fire for if they want to get past the bonfire. We could always do that.
Yeah, the range of prestidigitation is 10 feet, but do you have firebolt earlier?
I do not have firebolt. I have prestidigitation, ray of frost, and minor illusion. And thaumaturgy.
What does thaumaturgy do? That might work.
Thaumaturgy is...
Yeah, Jacob.
The description is your voice can boom 3 times as loud. You can have flames that flicker, bright and dim. Change colors, harmless tremors in the ground, instantaneous effect. This cause unlocked doors and windows to fly open, alter the appearance of my eyes, just stuff like that.
So we can cause flame the flicker. Can that light a fire?
Yeah, can that spark a flame?
Yeah, that's
the range on it.
Relier was going to be tending the bonfire to make sure everything was going good with how the smoke was flowing and stuff like that.
Why not just use thaumaturgy, using your voice to boom out, and then with earth tremoring to scare the goblins, which are cowards, out?
That is, I don't think that would work. That would probably require a very good deception check. To be fair, my deception is very good, but I doubt it would still scare Clark, and I'm pretty sure they'd be more afraid of Clark than just some tiefling.
No, you don't pretend to be tiefling. But I'm thinking of like.
I like Rory. She's
like
smart.
Goes with like poltergeist. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Interesting.
We could also try that once the goblins run out. Saying I used some magical power to drive them out of this place for them to turn against the leader. We could try that.
Stupid accent. That's cool.
Although I only have one more charm person spell, which I don't know.
Well, I'm gonna go ahead and set up the leaves and sticks because our vision is gonna be impaired by the smoke, so that we can hear them when they're stomping through.
I say when they're approaching, we should probably all have a Molotov prepared to like throw at the ground just beyond the bonfire, just so if they want to continue forward.
Not in game. I'm not touching a Molotov. I will not do well trying to throw something.
Throwing a Molotov is a ranged attack. It's based on dex.
Okay. Well, I'm used to all my DMs are always, oh, you're wanting to throw something? Strength. And
it's, there's actually no like raw ruling for what gets used, but considering it's a ranged throw, then I consider it a dex. If you were to splash it on someone immediately in front of you, it would be strength. And I know that that's a bit weird, but it's just that there's no raw ruling, so I go melee is strength, ranged is dex. That's just what I have to work with. If I play a lot of games and it seems to not be making sense in a lot of cases, I may change it, but for now, that's what I'm going with.
So, DM, do you want any rolls from us to...
Yes, I need a survival roll from Trenton to find wood, a lot of wood that's able to be burned. To find good firewood in the area.
Would anyone be willing to assist Trenton with that? Since we do have our rolls for getting the whole bonfire thing going.
Yeah, I'll help that out. I have hand axe.
You have what?
I have hand axe. I'll help with the firewood.
Okay. Trenton, you can make your survival roll with advantage.
Alright, I'm going to be right back. Actually, before we get into this, since we're doing this whole big plan, do we want to take a break, or...?
I'm good.
All right.
Yeah, I mean, if a player needs it, yeah, let's all take 5, and we'll come back and we'll begin to set this up.
All right.
Be right back, I guess. I hate this wizard. He is planned. And it's not just that he plans, but the plan has to be centered around him and his abilities. Like, he never makes a plan like, okay, you're a fighter. We have 3 fighters. We could do like a shield wall or something like that. No, it's always, let me use prestidigitation and thaumaturgy and my fucking weasel. You have other people. And then I hate players that talk about the other players like they're NPCs. Like, they'll say something like, this character does this character does that. Like, like you don't get to say that my character is moving with you or that my character sees something. Like, I get to say that. Like, if I decide to go over there, I'll go over there. You can't say, okay, here's how the team is going to form up. Like, you know what I mean? No.
Yes, man, but it's due tomorrow at noon, so I'll do it tomorrow at some point.
We're just on break right now if anyone's here, but I don't think so. Jacob, maybe not. Let's see. Yeah, that's cool.
Carol is usually a killer on defense, but like her husband, she's disappeared tonight.
Jeff Lowe conned his way to a max contract, but can you blame him? Look at the drip. Oakley signed this man. He's already an Affliction brand ambassador. Exotic, a little trickeration puts Baskin through the meat grinder for the layup. The lob to Shaq. Oh, my!
The chemistry between Shaq and Exotic Joe is undeniable. These big cat lovers are playing like dogs tonight.
The man has two husbands as he steps back for the three-pointer. Here, kitty.
Right card.
Okay, Trenton, you?
Yep.
Okay. Gathering wood's going to take a while. Is anyone else doing anything in the meantime?
I'm gathering just leaves and twigs.
Really? I think you said you wanted to take a rest. I'm sorry, Orion.
Yeah, if it's going to take an hour, I might as well take a rest.
It'll take a while, yeah. Really? You doing anything?
How long would you say it would take to gather wood?
Hour or two?
Because
you wanted to gather a lot.
What?
You wanted to gather a lot, so it'll take a while, yeah.
Alright, so I'll probably take a short rest too then, just because I got hit, so.
Okay.
And I'm not really going to be doing too much until the firewood is gathered, so.
Okay, Trenton, go ahead and roll survival for me. You're kind of helming this search for wood, looking for the stuff that'll burn the best, that'll burn with a lot of smoke.
I rolled a 17.
17,
With
okay.
advantage?
Yeah.
I'm helping.
Yep.
Well, no, not with you helping, but I'm sorry. Just
Was that with advantage?
that was advantage for proficiency.
With advantage, right. So he,
Yeah.
yep, 17 with advantage. Okay, so over the course of the next hour or two, you manage to gather a large supply of dry woods and leaves and bring it, where are you stockpiling this currently?
I'm going to stockpile it where everyone's resting for now.
Okay, well, where are you guys resting? Just outside the mouth of the cave, further into the woods? Where are you at?
Probably near the tree line, I reckon.
Okay. So, Orion and Relir, you get your short rest. You get some of your stuff back. Relir, you're able to use that thing that wizards have, Arcane Recovery. I'm not sure. Right, you probably get your spell slot for sleep back, I imagine.
Yeah, I still had a spell slot, but now I have two, so
Okay.
That's good.
You guys can roll hit dice if you need to, and you have your supply of wood.
All right, so I guess the plan is to start setting up the wood then.
Okay, so yep, just at this point, you guys had all kind of talked over everything that you were doing. So at this point, I just imagine that the only thing that's been set up so far is that you have the wood. So if anything else is being set up at this point, let me know.
I'm setting up the noise traps, the leaves and the.
Okay, so you're setting up some noise trap,
Yes.
and you're stringing.
Brittle leaves and twigs. I'm not doing the. Just making sure, because I don't know how we'll be able to see all the smoke.
Okay, and this is through across the mouth of the cave.
This is across the mouth of the cave and just everywhere where they can come from. I'm just kind of throwing it down.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're aware that the place we're setting up the bonfire is going to be a place where they'd have to come through.
I'm
Like,
setting it
as far as our player characters would know.
Yeah, I'm setting it further in.
I just wanted to clear that up because I didn't want there to be any misunderstanding.
Yeah.
Sorry, misunderstanding about what?
Where we're setting the bonfire, because as far as the PCs know, we're...
Okay, yeah. Okay, so where... Yeah, let me know exactly. I'm making marks on kind of a map. I've got noise trap across the mouth of the cave. And where's the bonfire going?
Basically, where the bonfire is going is where the goblins would have to go through in order to exit the cave. As far as our PCs would know, it's like if they
So there's the mouth of the cave, and then about 20 to 30 feet in, there's that cavern off to the right. that side passage off to the right that goes to the goblin den, and then so that's the first fork that there is. So you put it before that fork.
Would that, as far as we know, is that just like the only exit the goblins have?
Yes.
Then yes, we'd put it in front of the fork, and then I guess Elric, you'd put your trap right after the bonfire, so we'd be able to hear the goblins coming from behind the bonfire.
No, not right after. Like a good bit in. So like where that plank is, like in front of where that plank is. So like as soon as they get off, like, and it's gonna be a long stretch. It's gonna stretch as far as it can without it getting burned. So that we'll be able to hear them coming from at least a little bit of a distance.
Okay.
And then, Trenton, would you want to go ahead and use your ball bearings after he'd set a bit of that?
Yeah, thinking. Would it be better to put them on a plank bridge?
No,
the ball bearing?
Very good idea. Put some of them there.
Yeah, I want to split them. I want to put 500 of them on the bridge and 500 of them right before the fire, so maybe I can get them to slip into it.
And when they're running up, do we want to start throwing Molotovs like just behind the bonfire, so they'll have to go through like a floor of flames to have to try to escape? Is that something we want to try to do?
Well, where are we going to be oriented?
Okay. Trenton, you're the one who puts these ball bearings down?
Yes.
They begin to slide and move a bit on the rough cave floor, so they're a bit spread out. Some of them tumble off the bridge into the stream.
Okay.
All right. Orion, what will you be doing?
Well, is that post the rest?
Yeah, what's that? You got a short rest in while they were searching for wood.
Okay, cool. Then I'll just stand by the stream. I assume people are going to swim past, so.
Okay.
All right. Rykard, what will you be doing?
I was collecting wood.
You've finished collecting wood at this moment.
Okay.
The wood has been collected. It's been a couple of hours. You're now making your preparations in the mouth of the cave.
Rykard, if you want to help me with preparing the fire, because getting that fire going is going to be an important step.
Yeah. Did we use all? What do we do?
Elric said that he would be placing the fires in the tinder in such a way as to make a lot of smoke. So Elric, go ahead and roll an intelligence check for me to see how well of a job you do with that.
Intelligence? Alright, I'm going to start using my die so I can get it done faster. Let me see. Alright. That's a 16.
Okay. So in your time that you've made fires and set maybe a similar fire trap or two, you have a pretty good idea of how to lay these so that it'll build the heat quickly and hopefully produce a lot of smoke using the leaves and the tinder that you've collected.
And I also have the noise traps already laid out.
Mm-hmm. And you lay out just rope lines with this stuff connected?
No, so the noise traps, it's just large piles of twigs and leaves that will snap and break, that when they're coming through, we'll hear.
Okay, so you just set like piles of twigs and leaves on the ground?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. In front of the bonfire?
Some distance So like maybe like 6 to 10 feet of distance between it.
Okay.
All right. Is everything set up? Does anyone have anything else they want to add?
Yes, where are we going to be standing?
Imagine not too far from the bonfire so we can know when the goblins are coming, and like what actions you guys want to prepare is up to you, or we could do the Molotov thing, or it's whatever you guys want to do just to prepare for when they're coming.
We gonna be warm.
Okay, that was my only question. I'm ready. Ready a Molotov when everybody else is ready to get it started.
Personally, I think I'll be with you near the not too far from it, so I can throw Molotovs over the bonfire.
All right.
Just
everyone, quick remind me. So from where the bonfire is, Relier, you're tending the bonfire?
Yes, that will be tending the bonfire.
And Orion, where are you?
I'm by the stream to take anyone that want to swim out.
Okay, and this is near, like at the mouth of the cave?
I assume there's streams all around the cave, near even where we have bonfire.
Yeah, there is stream just past the bonfire. You stick by Relier with the bonfire, watching the side of the stream?
Yeah.
Okay. And Rykard, where are you?
I would also like to prepare to throw oil, Molotov cocktail.
An oil at so you're up right behind the bonfire as well?
Yeah.
Okay. And Elric, where are you?
So I'm just gonna be where they are, Orion and Relier, ready to attack them if I see them.
Okay.
Molotov in hand.
And Trenton?
I have a Molotov at the ready, but maybe 10 feet away from everyone else, but still on the same side of the bonfire, close to it, if that makes sense.
It's not a very wide passage that's following this stream, so you're all kind of one in a row. You're kind of in a line of one by one behind this bonfire.
Okay.
But you can be the furthest away from it if you'd like to be first.
Yeah, if that's the case, then I'll be the furthest away with a ready Molotov.
Okay, so you go ahead.
Yep.
All right, let's see. Let's wait a minute and see if Elric comes back. He might have had connection issues or something.
All right. Oh, this plan either gonna go really good or really bad.
Just note that I'm not using the Molotov, so someone will have that. I'm just going to use my Warhammer if they come through.
That's fine.
Or flame.
I might crowd control a bit the goblins, so when they're trying to come through, I think I might use burning hands.
Hey, Elric, we waited for you.
Hey, I'm back. My computer crashed.
Yeah, I thought that might have happened.
Yeah.
All right.
And I want to throw a Molotov as soon as I hear any stepping on the leaves towards the main entrance of the cave. Throw a Molotov right over there as soon as I hear it.
Okay. All right. So, Relier, you set the fire?
Yep, and I start tending to it with my prestidigitation and thaumaturgy and whatever I can to control it and keep it good and roaring.
Okay. Go ahead and roll an Arcana check for me.
Arcana.
Yeah.
So since I say this is gonna be an important roll, I'm gonna go ahead and use one of my portent. So that is an 18.
Oh, you did take that. All right. That's right. I forgot that you had taken. Okay. Got it.
I'm not a rigged palm reader for nothing.
Yep.
I can tell the future when I feel like it.
Mm-hmm. Okay. You go up and you set the fire, and it seems like it takes very well, being the material gathered, what it was, and placed in the way that it was by Elric, and you, Relir, tending it with your prestidigitation, lighting it, and lighting it again, and lighting it again, and keeping it hot, keeping it smoldering. The smoke begins to billow out, and it's beginning to rise and curl up the tunnel. And you can see that it's taking it a while to get there. The rushing stream and some of the spray that is coming off of it continues to kind of splash onto the bonfire a bit, and it's putting bits of it out, and it's taking a while, and minutes go by, and some of you begin to go out and ferry some more of the material in to feed this bonfire, and the smoke continues to curl up and away into the parts of the cavern that you've not yet seen. Time passes. You're starting to run low on your materials. You're not hearing anything from up ahead. Elric, you're not hearing any of your noise traps going off.
Maybe
What do you
set
do?
a sound or something, like prestidigitation, try to draw them out this way. The smoke isn't working.
It's got to have some sort of ventilation going on. I knew it wouldn't work quickly, but I didn't think it would take this long.
Well, I mean, they had a campfire inside the cave, so yeah, they have ventilation.
Right. Things.
Need ideas.
I think we should put the fire out.
I think we should make sounds and try to draw them out.
We could always try sounds.
All right. Try sounds, but I do think that at this point the fire could be a hindrance if you want to leave it up in case. Let's do.
I mean, if it's ultimately going to do nothing to them, then we are just burning time, but time is not necessarily of the essence, so we could just keep the fire going for a bit just to see if... I don't know. I'm trying to think.
Well, what time of day is it? When are they going to go out on their raids that they've been performing?
Could I?
In the time since you've woken up and entered the cavern for the first time, fought the goblins there, came out, collected the wood. It's pushing into the and have waited to see what effect this will have. It's pushing into the afternoon.
Okay. Can I see the smoke travel and see how it's going? See if there's any chance that it's working and that they might come out at some point.
At this point, your vision is mostly blocked by the smoke that's coming from directly in front of you. The smoke is very heavy where you are, where the fire is, and it seems like it is traveling up and into this cave. Although some of the force and the rush of wind that's coming with this stream is forcing a little bit of it back at you. More is going upwards than outwards, but looking ahead, you just see smoke directly in front of you.
I think we
The
should
question is
put the
how
fire
much
up.
longer we're willing to keep this up to see if it'll work.
I don't think we should
Because
keep it up any longer. It's running into night, and if it's nighttime, we're at a major disadvantage. So even if we run out, it's still dark. It'll be even harder to see in the cave because there'll be no light coming in. And not all of us can see in the dark.
Right card.
And our human friend.
In the cave, though, he would still be at a disadvantage, especially if we were going to go deeper into the cave anyway.
And if we go deeper at this point, without letting the smoke clear out, more of a disadvantage, because even with night vision, we can't see anything. Or dark vision. So, I think we should put it out, wait for the smoke to clear up at least a little bit, then cautiously enter the cave.
I feel like at this point, the field is more present. I feel like at this point we've committed too much, so it's more of an all or nothing kind of thing.
Then let's put it to a vote.
Yay for keeping the fire up, Elric.
Nay.
Yay or name. All right, Orion.
Nah.
All right, I'm yay. Rykard.
I really didn't think it would work to begin with. I say we put it out and go in.
All right, put it on, go in.
Let's go.
All right, so you take some of the water from the stream to douse the bonfire, and it goes up and the final burst of smoke as it's covered in the water. Unless you wanted to, I mean, that's just what I imagine you guys do to put it out. That work for you guys? All right, and then you make your way. You want to make your way further up into the caves. It's pretty filled with smoke now. As you wait a little bit, it's starting to clear up as you move a bit further in.
Do I have time to click on ball bearings?
Most of them are scattered off the bridge and in the tunnels. I'll say you do manage to pick up about 100 of them.
Okay.
If you want to take more time, you could probably find more.
No.
But it seems that with the surface that's not very level, they haven't kept in place.
Yeah, I think we should wait just a few minutes to let the smoke clear out a bit.
Okay, as you wait, the smoke does begin to move further up into the cave and begin to dissipate where you are. It's still, you're having to you have to cough a little bit with it, but you can start to see further ahead. It's no longer blocking your vision.
For now, I'm just going to just shout, put it to a vote, because
everyone ready to go?
Wizards keep saying, my idea, my idea, my idea.
All right, let's go in. I don't see much point in doing stealth right now, so I guess we all just kind of go in, I guess.
I guess.
Okay, which order are we going in?
I'll take the lead.
Okay, Trent's up front.
I'm in the back.
Relier's in the back.
I'll be in the middle.
Elric's in the middle. Rykard, you towards the back or the front?
Towards the back.
Towards the back? Okay. And Orion, behind Trenton or Elric?
Just in front of Rykard.
Okay. So it's Trenton, Elric, Orion, Rykard, and Relier. So you head up further into the tunnel. You can see the plank bridge that leads off to the den. And as you move further up, Rykard keeping a hand on Orion to orient yourself in the dark tunnel. Trenton, you can see off to the left the other plank bridge that it was the other exit from the den. And then descend further past that, the cave begins to level out, and you hear the sound of the stream and the rushing of the water is getting louder ahead of you. As you can see, it kind of opens up above you.
Okay. Are we going streamway, guys?
What?
I say we go.
Yeah, I think we don't have stealth anymore. I'm pretty sure they know we're here.
Yeah, I mean the direction we're going, not how we're going. Which way?
Yeah. Keep going along the stream, I guess.
Yeah.
All right, continue along the stream.
Okay, so as you reach the top portion of this tunnel, you can see where the stream is coming from. There's just water that is flowing from a hole higher in the cavern in this large cavern that you've entered into. Just ahead of you, the water is falling from somewhere higher up and creating this stream that's flowing out towards the mouth. And then the cavern opens up to your right, and you see this is a large, wide cavern filled with different columns and stalagmites and tights from the ceiling. And there's a kind of a crevice, a crack in the middle of this room. You can't see how deep it is from where you're at, but about 20 feet ahead of you, splitting this room, there's this 10-foot gap.
Okay.
I want to check to see if there's any enemies around that could be hiding, or if there's any evidence.
Okay.
Can I give him guidance?
Yes, you can. Go ahead and roll perception.
Alrighty, give me 1 second when my key loads up. Alrighty. That's 15.
15.
Wait, no, 14. Sorry.
14?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me just 1 sec. I do have some notes here. I thought I did. Oh, yeah, here we go. Okay. So you look across back to the back of this cavern and around and kind of look around the formations that are near you, but you do not see signs of any enemies in this chamber.
Alright. I don't think there's anyone in here, but that chamber, that area with all the columns, very risky going there. We can try and I don't see anywhere else to go, really, besides that giant crack in the floor.
You do see that across the cavern there is an exit on the other side.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the goblin we had charmed told us there are 5 to 7 goblins in between here and the throne room. And he said there's a large cavern, then a tunnel that led to the throne room. So they're probably in here.
Yeah, I imagine that columned place might be where we need to go. And that is moderately terrifying.
Worst comes to worst, I do have Featherfall, though, if we do have to go across this.
Send your rat into the cavern, see what you can find.
It's a weasel, but I can do that. Though you may have to guide it a bit, or tell me where I'm going, because I won't be able to see much while I'm taking control of it.
Alright, I'll verbally tell you where to go as far as I can see, and just listen for it.
Well, I won't be able to hear you through my ears, so just, I don't know, give me some maybe just tap on my left shoulder for left, right shoulder for right, something like that.
I'll walk with it and stealth it so that it can listen
Alright.
and I can look.
Alright, it'll be the ears and nose then, and you can be the eyes.
Yeah.
Just like last time.
Yeah. Alright.
So you're gonna let him put it on your shoulder?
Yep. The little creature's gonna be on top of me again. Alright.
Oh,
Yep, that's
not
what
that
I'm gonna do.
bad.
I'm gonna stealth my way in there with the rodent on top of me.
Okay. So go ahead and make a stealth check for me.
That's a 15.
15. Okay. So you move further into this cavern and you come up to the chasm that is splitting this room. There is a plank bridge in front of you, similar to the ones that had crossed the stream, and another bridge further north in this cavern. So 2 bridges cross this gap.
Oh, this is definitely where we need to go. All right, I'm just walk back to them and tell them everything I saw, the bridges and the gap and the crossing.
All right.
Begrudgingly, because I know we're gonna end up having to go in there and know we're gonna get ambushed.
All right, you go ahead and head back to the party.
Yep. All right, so there were. Can you tell them that? Because I wasn't sure I got, say it for me, because I wasn't sure I got the whole gist of everything you said.
Okay, so this is a large cavern, and the middle of it is cut by this chasm that's about 10 feet across. And you saw it goes about 10 or 15 feet down. And then there's 2 plank bridges that cross this gap. And then on the other side, the cavern continues, and at the end of it, there is another exit to this chamber.
Mm-hmm. That's what.
So I say we try to cross one of those bridges as a team.
Yeah, we got that.
Sounds good.
We got this exit here that might. Who knows where that leads? But we'd have to cross the gap. So I guess we're going into the bridges.
Trapped we go.
Well, when we actually get in front of the bridge, let's go across it one at a time. But yeah, we should all go across the same bridge together.
Yeah.
All right. So which bridge do you head to?
Do they both head to the same general area?
They both head across the cavern. One's closer to you on the south side. Others closer to the north side of the room.
Can I tell which one's sturdier? Which one will be able to take us walking across it better?
You walk up and examine both bridges. Go ahead and make an investigation check for me.
Investigation. Okay. Good investigation. 17.
17.
Yeah.
As you're searching both of these bridges and the party has come up with you to check them out, you can tell that the southern bridge is rigged to fall if anyone crosses it.
All right. We take the north bridge. This one down here, they made sure that it'll fall if we try and cross it.
Wow.
All right.
Sounds
who's
good.
going first? It's not me.
I'll go first.
Alrighty, and I will have an arrow trained on that entrance or in that general area to protect you.
Okay.
I'll also have a Ray of Frost prepared.
Okay, so you're all heading over to the north bridge together?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and Trenton is crossing first?
Yes.
Okay. So Trenton, as you begin to cross this bridge, an arrow shoots out from somewhere in the eastern part across the bridge. That is an 18 to hit?
Miss.
Misses. Okay. So you see before you hear this goblin come out from behind a stalagmite and fire at you, and you're able to block it with your shield as it does so. Everyone, go ahead and roll initiative for me.
Initiative.
That is a soft 20.
Okay, hang on. So, Elric.
Soft 20.
Okay, that was you. All right.
Yeah.
20. Elric, Orion.
10.
10. And Relir.
11.
And Rykard.
Natural 20 plus 2.
All right, so 22. And Trenton.
11.
11. Okay. I think you. Who's going to go first? It was a little confusing to do this at the same time. So you and Relier had the same initiative. Who's going first?
Probably Trenton, because I imagine he has the higher deck.
Okay. Trenton's going first.
Alrighty.
All right. Roll for the goblin. All right. So as you're crossing and as you block this arrow from a goblin, two more appear out from behind some stalagmites and columns on the other side. They take aim at Elric and Relier. So Elric, you first. They do have advantage as they were hidden from you at the time of firing. That is a natural 20.
Yeah, all right.
As you are surprised and hit by an arrow for 11 points of piercing damage.
Oh my gosh.
And Relier, that is 22. Or, no, I'm sorry, 20. As the third one pops out, and you take 7. Rykard, you are surprised, but you are the first to react, so you have your reaction now. But this is a surprise round for these goblins. So they went. Now we're at the top of the round again. You are all surprised by this. Rykard, you act.
So this is my turn.
Yep. I'm sorry. So the goblins went. They had their turn, and you all lost your turn due to being surprised. And now we are back at the top of the initiative order. And you, with your natural 20, are going first. I'm going ahead, and these goblins are going to attempt to hide as the end of their. But not all of them did so well. So let me see. 1, 2. 2 of them disappear back behind columns, but one, Orion and Rykard, you're able to see where this last one goes, and you point him out to the rest of the group. So this is how I was saying I was going to play it, is the people who have the highest passive perceptions and see these are able to point them out to the rest of you. So the rest of you are able to keep an eye on one of these goblins as Rykard, who's taking his turn now, points it out to.
Real quick, I don't remember if you remember this, but I was trained on that area. I said I'd have my bow trained in that area. So did that give me anything, or did I see anything else besides that one that he pointed out to us?
The one that, other than the one that he pointed out, no. So you had your guard was up, but you just weren't expecting this attack. Yeah. And Relier, I know you're gonna you might say something about holding your spell again, and again, it comes around to like readying an action outside of combat is something that just is kind of difficult to adjudicate. You get to use it or not when your turn comes up, you know. Because for instance, spells can only be held for a round. So unless you're, kind of constantly keeping it held and recasting over and over again, it's really a thing that's unable to be held.
I will say that since we knew that the goblins probably knew we were here, that we could have been on our guard more, and maybe we.
Right. You were on guard for some sort of attack at some time, but you didn't know when, and you didn't know from where.
They were hidden, and so there was no way we could.
You were really, really close to noticing them with that perception roll. You rolled just under what you needed to get in order to find them.
Okay.
This will work in your guys' favor too. Like, I know this party isn't super stealthy, but that's how it would work. If you're able to hide and they don't know exactly where you are or when you are, I mean, they can be on their guard, but you would still get in a surprise round on them.
All right.
Yep, that's the rules of surprise in the book. Whoever rolls stealth, and if they're successful at their hide attack, they get their surprise round. And you guys would get it too. All right. So, Rykard, you're the first to act. You do have your eyes trained on one of these goblins. They're across the bridge. You can move past Trenton to try and reach them. This goblin.
How far?
It's within your reach. It's within your movement.
Okay, then yeah. Run up to the one goblin I can see.
Okay, you run up to the goblin who you've kept your eyes trained on, wasn't able to make a successful a hide. What do you do?
Now, you said something last time about like looking for other goblins is a
Is an action perception check to look for to search out other goblins. So then you would have to beat with your perception check their hide. Actually, you know what, Rykard? I apologize. You are blind in this moment. You are just hanging on to Orion, so you cannot see anything.
Okay.
So I apologize. You do not see that goblin, and you hear Orion yelling at where it is and trying to point it out, but you cannot see where that might be.
Okay, then I'm gonna light my torch.
Okay, so you take your action to light your torch, and now, sorry, forgive me. Now you are able to see where she's pointing out in the flare of in the flash of the light that comes up from your torch. You see this goblin across the way. So you could still reach it with your movement, but you do not have an action to attack it this round.
Yeah.
But do you want to get in melee with it?
Not yet.
Okay. So you hold on the western side of this chasm.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
All right, guy.
So, that goblin, the one who you are all able to see, as Orion's pointed out, does not get to make his attack with advantage as he is hidden, or as he's not hidden. He's going to go ahead and take aim at Orion, who's the one who pointed him out. And that is a 23 to hit.
That hits.
Okay. You take 7 points of piercing damage as this arrow shoots into your side. All right. And you look up, and he's a bit frightened by the look in your eyes, and you're able to keep an eye on where he moves as he attempts to hide. And you're still pointing him out to the rest of the group, saying, "He's gone over there." All right. I'm sorry, I'm kind of taken away, but you can see where he is if you'd like to point him out to everyone else. Okay. The other two come out of hiding. They're going to make attacks against Rykard and Trenton. So they've noticed Rykard, who lit up the torch. They're going to make one of them is going to make an attack against you. But now, by the light of the fire, you're able to see it and avoid it. They only rolled 9. The other one I said was aiming at Trenton, who's on the bridge. That is a 19. So I believe that just hits you. Okay, so you do take 5 points of piercing damage. These two are going to attempt to hide again, and you do manage to. Everyone manages to keep their eye on the one that it hit Trenton. The one who targeted Rykard, however, disappears from your vision. And it is now Elric's turn. So you can currently see, or have had pointed out to you 2 of these goblins. One who's just made an attack against Trenton.
I'm throwing that Molotov I had at him.
Okay, so you go. I'll say that you lean over to where Rykard's got the torch burning, and you light it from that. Go ahead and make.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Go ahead and make a rain. This would be a dexterity check to throw it at the goblin that you can see.
Alrighty. That's a nat 20.
Nat 20. All right, so you lob it up, and it lands right splashing on this goblin's chest, and now he's brightly lit by this flame as he cries out as the fire engulfs him. He's just crying out in pain and running around and trying to pat it out.
All right, I'm going to hide behind a stalagmite.
Okay. So you duck into some cover. Go ahead and roll.
Ready? 19.
19. Okay, you feel that you've hidden yourself well and that the goblins might now be focused on the member that is on fire. Okay. Trenton, you can clearly see the goblin that's on fire. It's not hiding anywhere. It's running around trying to pat itself out, and it's within your reach.
I want to swat at it with my warhammer.
Okay, so you run up to this goblin who's just running around, and you go ahead and with your
23.
This goblin is just running around and all of a sudden turns to see you running up, and it's not able to dodge out of the way, and your hammer just comes crashing down on its skull and cracks it, and it drops, and it's slowly burning still. The oil is burning off of it.
Can I see the other goblin that was near him?
You look to the left and you do see another goblin.
Is he within range?
You've used your movement and your action to run up and attack the goblin that you saw on fire, so he is not within your current reach.
What if I use action surge? Can I use that now?
If you use action surge, you can get in melee with him.
I like to do that.
All right, so you use your action surge to give yourself this burst of extra speed and run up and get right in this goblin's mug. All right. Relir. So you can see that Trenton has closed with this goblin who's now about 30 feet away from where you are if you go and cross the bridge and get to where they are.
Is there anywhere that provides half cover or 3/4 cover where I'd still be?
You can definitely take a bit of cover behind some of the columns and stalagmites that litter this cavern.
All right, and would that still be in the range of Ray of Frost for the goblin he's about to go in on?
Yeah, Ray of Frost is like 90 feet or something, or even 60 feet. Yeah, you're fine. This whole cavern is only about 60 feet across, so you're good.
All right, and then Ray of Frost.
Okay, go ahead and make an attack roll.
All right.
With your Ray of Frost. Range spell attack. It's a what?
That doesn't hit.
Oh, what is it?
It's a 10.
Oh, okay, yeah. So as this goblin and Trenton are kind of in melee, just it sparks off to the side of him.
All right.
And you get back behind cover, taking cover from the goblins. All right.
I'm gonna have my familiar try to roll perception to see if it can hear the breathing of the other goblin that's hidden.
Okay. I'm just gonna say that all you hear right now is the rush of the waterfall and the fighting, and he's not able to really make out a particular breathing sound in all this din and the echoing in the caves. There's just too much noise going on.
Holidays in a cave where there's a fight
Well, that's
going on.
my turn then.
You're breathing.
Okay, Orion.
I'm going to do something very similar. I'm going to find somewhere that I can get some form of cover, and then also send out a sacred flame to the guy that shot me.
Okay. Yep, you can currently see one that's engaged with Trenton. So you go ahead and you send a sacred flame at him, and he manages to avoid it as he's trying to duck out of the way of Trenton as well. So he rolled a natural 14 on his dex save.
Cool. But I'm now in cover.
But now, yep, and you take cover as well. Okay. So Rykard, you have your torch up. So and I believe you said you had been preparing a Molotov.
No, I didn't say that.
Oh, okay, never mind. Okay, torch up, and Trenton is fighting a goblin. You could move and get there.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do.
Okay, so you move across the bridge and you run up to where Trenton is fighting.
And that's the only goblin I see, right?
That's the only goblin you see, yeah.
I'm taking a swing at it.
Okay. Go ahead and make an attack. What's that?
15.
15. And roll damage.
10. Wait. Wrong die. 7 plus 4. 13 damage.
Okay, so this goblin who's been trying to dodge around Trenton who's coming at him and just dodged a sacred flame is completely unprepared for your attack as you swing it down and strike him hard in the chest, and you can feel his ribs crack and blood spews out from underneath your hammer, and he's thrown against a stalagmite and collapses to the ground. So as you see this, you all see the third goblin beginning to make a run for it, running towards the other exit to this cavern. So he's just made it in to the mouth of it and is beginning to head up. And Elric.
All right, I'm gonna peek out. And do I get advantage because he doesn't?
Yep, you peek out and you see the back of this goblin as he's running away, and he's just about to make it out of your line of sight. You have advantage on this attack.
16.
16. Go ahead and roll damage with your sneak attack.
Alrighty. What does sneak attack add? Does that add anything?
It's a D6.
D6? Okay.
So a D8 for your longbow, a D6 for your sneak attack, plus your dexterity modifier.
It's a short bow.
Oh, it is a short bow? Okay, my bad. I was thinking of another character from last night. Okay, so 2D6 plus your dex mod.
Okay. 10.
10?
Yeah.
And as he's running up, it just catches up with him and strikes the back of his heart. And he topples to the ground and then slides back down the stairs, kind of the slope that he was ascending.
Alrighty.
And quiet. All you hear is now the rushing sound of the water and the little bit of still crackle that's going on as the last of the oil burns off of the one goblin's body.
Oh, I am hurt. I'm very hurt. I really hope that goblin that I shot in the heart was the one that shot me.
Very well. I'm pretty sure it was. Yeah.
Awesome. Perfect. That's what they call revenge.
He was the one who was making all his hide checks. So.
Yeah. Alright.
So let's heal up and move on.
Yeah, I'm hurt. I'm very hurt. I definitely need it.
I'm glad the Molotov worked out. That was a nat 20 on the Molotov, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, that was perfect. Literally.
Definitely made him easy to see.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so you have the Northern Bridge, 3 goblin corpses, and this room, the waterfall room.
What does that make? Anywhere from 3 to 5 goblins in a bugbear? Yeah, I think that's.
And a wolf.
Yeah.
Yeah, he said 5 to 7, so there's probably at least 2 more ahead, maybe.
5 to 7, I think. All right, so it's 2 to 5 more. All right. 2, yeah, something like that. 2 to 4. But yeah, I need to heal. I desperately need at least a little.
How low are you?
Hmm.
How badly are you?
I'm at 2.
Is anyone else less than half?
I'm at 5.
Wait.
How much is your half?
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I'm just trying to work out how many people is less than half. Is it just Eric that is less than half health?
I have less than half. My maximum's 12, and I'm currently at 5.
No, he's way less than half, yeah.
Then I'm going to do, well, I'm going to heal you back to half.
Okay.
That's all right.
All right, so I'm 13, so that'll put me at 6.
So you're going to use, okay, and then for Raika it's just 1, so okay, then I'm going to waste 3 health points from using whatever that's called.
Cure wounds.
I'm going to use Channel Divinity on you guys.
Oh yeah, that's right.
What does that put me at? What does that do?
It reach everyone to half.
Okay.
Only up to half.
Okay.
For 12 health points. So I'm just
Actually, let me take a look at that. It might. Yeah, you're reading it differently than I did, but you might actually be correct. Oh, okay. Up to. Oh, okay, I got it. Sorry, I read it as like if their max HP is 12, you could heal them 6. But I think.
Only up to half.
But it's that you can only heal them up to 6, not you can heal them 6 points.
Yeah. So
Okay.
the more people there's less than half, the better
Right.
this one is, because I can use up all of my 10 health points.
Okay, it can restore a creature to no more than half its hit point maximum. Okay.
So whoever there's not half is going to be currently half. Everyone that's above half don't get any healing. Because I only have 2 spell slots left, I'm going to leave that for actual fighting time.
Yeah.
Oh, right. You had used one before. Okay. All right. So, yep.
Agitated now.
So if anybody's feeling better, maybe we should warm up and move into this entrance here.
Okay, BBEG time.
Okay. So I say that.
So you're moving ahead into this cavern, into the exit to the waterfall cavern.
Think so.
Okay, all of you moving ahead.
I'll probably be hanging a bit down more than the group, just because I'm still kind of hurting and I don't want to get one shot through.
Okay, what's the order we're going in? Continuing up this passage.
I'm gonna go first in stealth.
Okay.
Should we all stealth? Just even we're bad at it, let's at least put
But
in.
if I go first, then at least then I'll be able to see what happens, and people who are in the back that didn't roll well stealth, I can just warn them.
Okay. This is just the premise that I've been working off of. So if you guys, if you want to send someone ahead who's stealthy and the rest of you aren't stealthing, in order to remain kind of as a separate roll as a separate group, you've got to be at least 60 feet apart.
Okay.
Any closer than that, and just the din of the group traveling together is enough that it'd be one stealth roll. So, Elric, if you want to continue ahead under a separate roll, that's how far ahead you'd have to be. Because otherwise, it doesn't make much of a difference. You're not losing out on much to put one guy 30 feet ahead and go based off their best stealth roll.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Okay.
And go back and then come back and say what I see.
Okay.
So it's +5, right? Yeah, that's a natural 18, so that's 23.
23. Okay, so the rest of you wait at the bottom of this entrance, and Elric, you scout ahead very slowly, very carefully, taking care with each step. And as you it curves to the right as you're curving up and going higher up this passage, and you begin to see that there's some light coming from up ahead.
Mm-hmm.
And you continue forward more and a little bit further, and you start to hear the sound of voices. One sounds very loud and boisterous, and you recognize it as Goblin, what you've heard all the rest of the creatures in here speaking.
Mm-hmm.
And there appears to be some other voices that you're hearing as well. You make your way a little bit further up, and you're just kind of keeping yourself tight against the wall of this tunnel. You peer into a room beyond where this tunnel opens up, and you can see there is Clark. You see him first. He's the most noticeable in the room. A large, big, bulky, furry humanoid. The same arrangement of limbs, but the squished, scrunched goblin face and just huge arms covered in orange fur. He's sitting at a table and seems to be playing some sort of a game with two goblins that are seated at the other side. At his feet lies a large wolf sitting at his side.
Why do I hear boss?
Why
do I hear boss music?
Yeah. Right.
In the rest of the cavern, you can see is lit by a campfire in the middle of the room, and there are crates of supplies you imagine that have been pilfered and by these bandits stacked in corners of the room.
All right. So I'm gonna go back to the team and make a game plan. All right, so I head back. All right.
You head back, and Elric fills you in on what he's seen.
So, Plug's in there, along with the goblins. There only seem to be 2 left. There might be one more straggling about. Almost 2. And he has a wolf with him, so they're all in there. What we can do is they don't seem to either notice or care that we're in here, if they do know that we're here. So what we can do is we can try and wait it out and see what happens and leave and come back in later, or we can go in and get the sneak on them, get the jump on them. Because if we go in and start attacking as soon as we see them, we might have a chance. But it is a bugbear and a wolf, so.
I say we go in sneaking, but with Molotovs flying. We throw the last of what we have before they see us. Hopefully, the fire panics them, and we rush in on them.
All right. So
I'm gonna try to put the 2 goblins to sleep just so we can get into melee with the wolf and the bugbear.
We have 5 Molotovs left. All right. So we each take one. I'll leave mine unlit. And I'll go in there with my bow drawn, fire off a shot, then you run in and throw. Like, as I'm running, I will shoot, and by the time I'm shooting, you should all already be throwing. Because I'm going to try and take up that wolf, because if that wolf is... We don't want
Alright, I'm going to try to...
Yeah, I like wolves.
I'm going to try to sleep the goblins and maybe the wolf if I can.
Yeah. All right. So the plan is, I'll sneak in there, and just fire off a shot, and then y'all run. And I will try and hide behind a stalagmite as much as I can while y'all come in with your mount.
All right. Do we want to heal up since we're at the boss fight then, or supposedly was the end?
If any of them decides to come and check on their things, we're dead.
I can use my second wind now, though, which I think I'm going to do.
I'd say if you're at half or anything, use it now.
I'm not at half. I'm at 5, but I don't know if I'll be able. I was jumped by wolves last time and didn't get a chance to use it, so I should probably just go in at full health.
Use it if you can.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do.
Alrighty.
I'm just gonna try to hang back and not get shot. Hopefully.
All right.
See if I can get the sleep off.
I guess that's the plan. He's gonna try and get himself back up, and we're gonna run in.
All right. So
wait.
So it's just 30 feet for them to be in.
What's that?
It's a 30-foot thing. So it's one movement, right?
Oh, for them to be in there with you?
Yeah, for that distance. That distance is one movement, right?
You're stealthing ahead though, so you're trying to get a surprise round on them by remaining unseen.
Yeah.
Okay, if you all want to get the surprise round on them, you all need to make a stealth check. If it's just the one of you surprising them and getting a round off on your own, then you can make the stealth check.
How far away were the goblins from the bugbear and the wolf?
Yeah, it's gonna be me, and I'm gonna try and. Can I get a meta?
The rest of you, if you're holding back, can use your turns to run up to where he is.
Would I be able to use a stealth attack with Molotov, just based on what you want?
If you get surprise on them, then yeah, you get a turn while they take the time to react.
Then I'll stealth and use the Molotov.
Okay. And the rest of you are holding back?
If they run at us and they don't know we're here yet, do we get a surprise in that case?
In order to get surprised, normally a stealth check has to be made. So I will say that anyone who does not make the stealth check does not get like the surprise round to attack. You can use that turn to run up and get like next to Elric.
Yeah.
So you can run up to the room with him, but you'll have to start on the same round that they would start.
Not all of us are stealthy. In fact, I'm in.
Yeah. I'm not going at that. What I'm trying to ask is like, can they? What if they run at us, like down the hall, chasing you out of there after you take your first shot, and they don't know we're out here?
So if they do that, if they run into the room where you guys are, you would all have to be hiding in this room. So that would be a stealth check in this room to hide as they run in. Plus, then they'd already be on their guard from someone having hit them. As soon as combat starts, it's either surprised or not. And anyone who wants to surprise them has to have made a stealth check.
Okay, I like that. That's a good idea. Y'all stay in here. I'll go in, and then as soon as I throw it, I run.
So as soon as they see you, then you get your surprise round off. If they follow you after that, they are no longer surprised.
Yeah.
Okay.
These guys are going to try and make surprise checks within the room.
But that's what I'm saying. Surprise is something that you can only have in the first round of combat.
Okay.
That round will be you having surprised them and then them being surprised. They can't even move until they're no longer surprised. So by the time that they would be running down into this room, there is not a chance for them to be surprised anymore. Surprised is something that they can be on the first round of combat. Once combat is initiated, it is assumed that they are combat aware enough to no longer, if you guys are still hidden and make attacks at range, those would be at advantage. I mean, if you're hiding, you have an advantage to hit anyone who can't see you. It's just that it won't be like a surprise round where you get attacks off and they don't get to do anything.
All right,
Okay, I like that actually.
You can all hide in this room, and then anyone who can make ranged attacks who is hidden from them could do it at advantage.
All right, so I got 2 ideas, everyone. We can either go with the first thing, I attack, and y'all run in and just support me and try and overwhelm them and just keep pushing on them, or I can try and do as much damage as I can in one hit, come in, people who can do ranged, have cover, and the ones who don't, be just ready at the door to do damage as soon as they walk through.
Or we could still have 1 Molotov each, so everyone can still range on the first.
Oh, yeah, we all have Molotovs. But
yeah, that's what I was thinking.
I will 100% sacrifice myself if one of us doesn't get a good throw on it. So.
Personally, I just want to wait until the goblins get a good bit away from the bugbear and the wolf, just so I can sleep them, and the bugbear will be locked in combat, so they probably wouldn't be able to do too much with the goblin.
I keep forgetting.
Because I imagine if I cast it while they're right next to him, the same things are just going to happen that happened last time.
Yeah.
Because my D8s do not like this bot.
I like the Molotovs thing, where they're running in here and we're getting them.
Oh, people that can't cast sleep should Molotov them. People that can cast sleep should cast sleep.
Yeah, definitely.
Sounds like a plan. And I guess a heads up, I rolled a 5 on my second win, so I'm back up to full health.
Okay.
Awesome. All right then.
I don't think I'm gonna stealth in, but when we do start I don't know.
No, just don't stealth. Just try and be behind cover. Try and be covered.
I think I'm might prone, just because I really do not want to just get downed by an arrow.
Yeah, just be covered and hidden. Like, see if you can do that. If you can't, just be full cover.
I think that's the plan, right? You go in, hit the wolf, and then you come back towards direction, pull off the goblins back.
Yeah.
And we, as the rest of the group, will hide behind something. And that still requires stealth roll, but it's a different type of.
Yeah, okay. Is that what we're doing, everyone?
Sounds good. Yeah, I like it.
All right, so I'm going to stealth in there and have my Molotov ready.
Okay. Let me think. Yeah, because this is a little different from... All right, so since everyone is hiding individually, this won't be a group check, since you could all be hidden or not. So everyone who's hiding themselves in this room, so Orion, Relir, Rykard, and Trenton, you're all planning to hide yourselves in this room?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So where are you hiding in this room? There's the eastern end across the cavern. There's the western end back towards where you came from. Tell me where you're positioning yourselves. This room is kind of littered with different columns and formations, so there's lots of places to hide. Lots of places to gain some half cover.
Can I hide where the goblin shot me? As in, where the goblin shot me, where he was hiding.
Okay, this is so you're hiding on the eastern end. All right.
That's the end where the door is, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So there's the eastern end is the side with the passageway that leads to Clark. Western end is the passageway that leads back out the cave, and the waterfall is on the western side with that follows that path out. So Orion's on the east side. Really, or where are you hiding?
I wouldn't want to hide in a place that's going to have line of sight on the goblins, but where I can get half cover. And I can't remember.
That's most of this room.
Is there any way that I could get half cover and also be proning?
Did you say be prone?
Yeah, because that gives me a disadvantage on attack rolls or range attack rolls, but since sleep isn't an attack roll, you
are correct. Yes, so you can be prone. you want to be further away from the entrance to Clark's cave? Do you want to be on the western end?
I want to be as physically far away from Clark, but not so physically far away that I won't be able to sleep the goblins.
Sleep has a 90-foot range, right? This cavern is only 60 feet across, so you can be pretty far out towards. Yeah, I'll put you further away.
I'm hiding.
You are prone, and you've got your eyes trained on this entrance.
Yep.
Okay.
I still got my second portent. I'm hoping I don't have to use it on a rage attack, but.
Okay. Rykard, where are you hiding? You've still got a torch lit, by the way.
Hello?
Rykard, you there?
Huh.
Where are you hiding? Also, you have a lit torch.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, is the throne room lit by like fires or something?
Where Clark is, there is a fire. But in this room, there's nothing other than your torch.
Okay, then I'm gonna extinguish my torch.
Okay.
Actually, no.
All of a sudden, you're blind.
Yeah. I'm not gonna extinguish it. I'm just gonna leave it in the floor in this room when we go to the next room.
Okay. I think the plan was to hide in this room. So if you leave the torch on the ground, that's fine.
Yeah. They won't know exactly where you are if the torch is just on the ground, not in the room.
Yep. So if you just put the torch somewhere on the ground to kind of light where you're looking, but not necessarily where you are, you can do that and make a and hide somewhere.
Okay. Then I'll
do you want to? I imagine as a fighter that you want to be on the side of the room that's near the entrance.
Yeah.
All right. I mean, on the eastern side near the entrance to Clark's cavern.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. And Trenton, where are you positioning yourself?
On the eastern side, opposite of the entrance to Orion.
Okay. I mean, you guys want to be like right up next to the entrance? I have you kind of in the middle of that side.
Please be set apart because
about 20 feet back from the entrance.
Okay. Yeah. Got it. All right.
I need to be a bit further away from the entrance.
All right. So, I'm gonna go around, and then Elric, we're gonna do you last since you're kicking this off. Mm-hmm. Orion, give me a stealth check. With your armor, I believe it's a disadvantage. Yes. So give me a stealth check at disadvantage from you, Orion.
A 6.
6. Okay. Relir, stealth check from you.
Give me 1 sec. Wrong tab. That's an 18.
18. Okay. Trenton.
14.
Okay. Trenton, you need to make your check at disadvantage. Did you do that?
Yes, my other was 18.
Okay. So 14, you said?
Yep.
All right. And Rykard?
6.
Okay. So Orion 6, Rykard 6, Trenton 14, Relir 18. Okay. You all have hidden yourselves. You feel well amongst these cave formations in this room. Relir lying prone on the ground and keeping an eye kind of now where the torch is near the exit or entrance, depending on where you're coming from, to Clark's cavern. And Orion, go ahead and make your stealth roll to approach Clark's cavern.
You mean Eric?
You mean Elric, right?
Sorry, Elric. Yep, Elric. My bad.
21.
Okay. So, Elric, you sneak your way back up to where you were, continuing to go unnoticed. You see what you had seen before. Clark is just laughing and chuckling at these two goblins seem to kind of be humoring him, and he seems to be winning whatever game that they're playing.
Mm-hmm. I want to throw the Molotov at the wolf.
Okay, so it would be an action to light something that you could use.
I already lit. I said.
Yep, that's fine. Yep, go ahead. Who are you throwing it at?
The wolf.
The wolf. Okay, go ahead and make a dexterity check. At advantage, since he doesn't know you're there.
Could we get it stealth bonuses as well? Just sneak attack dice.
21.
21. No, because this isn't a finesse weapon.
It was worth a try.
Lawyer.
Just Dark Soul firebombing at it.
All right, so as that happens, I'm going to have everyone roll initiative, so we've got that up, and then I'll go ahead and resolve the attack against the wolf. Alrighty then. Elric.
18.
Orion.
21.
What was it?
21.
21, all right. Relier.
5.
5. Rykard.
16.
Throw that because the bot didn't say it, he did.
And Trenton.
12.
12.
He wanted a low roll because he doesn't want to get hit. He doesn't want to come out of cover.
Go ahead and roll for these guys. We'll say Wolf, Clark, Goblins. All right, Elric, as you sneak up and you take the Molotov and you throw it into the room, it splashes and crashes against the side of the wolf and ignites on it, and it lets out a loud yelp that alerts everyone in the room, and they turn and they're surprised and they see you standing there. They begin to get up, and Clark gives out a roar, ah, and begin to ready their weapons. What do?
I book it from where I came.
Okay, you run all the way back down into the cavern. You use your bonus action to dash, and you make it back into the cavern where the rest of your allies are hidden.
How far into the cavern am I?
You're just inside of it. You've just reached the entrance. Yes. Let me see. Oh, yeah, here it is. Here's the drawing. Yep, you've just gotten back inside of it.
Okay.
So it's your movement and your dash to get just back inside this cavern.
All right. Good enough for me.
Okay, and the rest of you
Do a little hand
all right, the rest of you are kind of alerted as Elric comes in, waving his hands. Then you all wait and hold Orion, you're the first to react as Elric comes in running. What do you do?
It'll take them roughly another round to come back in, right?
You don't know. They might be right behind him or not.
Well, I can't attack, so I'm going to light my Molotov, because given my terrible hide means I suppose I'm very close to the torch. So I'm just going to light my Molotov and then duck back to the half cover and wait for them to come in.
Okay. So you go ahead and light your Molotov. All right.
And duck back.
Elric, you're the next to react as you catch your breath and you don't hear them coming up behind you yet.
I'm just gonna run. I'm gonna keep going that direction.
Okay.
And go as far as I can.
Okay. Do you want to run all the way to the western side across the bridge and everything?
Will I be able to ready my bow in that direction if I do?
I mean, if with your movement, you could get to the bridge with a dash. You could get further into the other side. You have a dash as a bonus action, so you'd still have an action to ready after that.
All right, then I'm gonna dash all the way across.
Okay.
Ready my bow at the entrance.
All right. So you are readying an attack with your bow, and your trigger is just the first thing you see?
Yeah, first thing that comes through the door, I'm shooting at.
Okay. All right. Rykard.
They're not in the room yet, right?
They're not in the room yet.
I am then already attack with my thrown hand axe.
Okay.
Oh my goodness.
Trenton. For the first thing you see, Rykard?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's not an ally, of course.
Mm-hmm.
You just look at me and you just go, ah.
I'm gonna ready the Molotov for. I'm gonna light the Molotov and ready in action and throw it at the second thing that comes through the room.
It's an action. It's an action to light it.
It's not just interactive.
If you didn't have anything else lit.
We had a torch.
It's on the ground. In front of the mouth of this cavern. You're hidden behind some stalagmites. It's nowhere near you.
Okay, then I'll just light the torch.
Okay. All right, so Trenton readies a Molotov. And now you hear pounding and noise coming from the cavern, from the exit.
Do I get anything or no? They roll higher than me.
Yep, they rolled higher than you. So you're bottom of the round. So the first thing you see is Clark and the wolf heading into the room. Clark's holding up his shield ahead of him as he sees the torch and spots a couple of you in the room. The goblins who are trailing behind him step out the corners of the room and get behind some cover. But the people who had held their actions, which are it's Elric and Rykard, I believe have you readied a thrown hand axe or something? Who else readied other than Elric?
Who else? What?
Elric had readied a longbow attack or a bow attack, and I think and a couple of you, was it Trenton and Orion had lit Molotovs, but Rykard, didn't you ready an attack?
Yeah, hand axe throw.
A hand axe throw. Okay, so Elric and Rykard, as everyone enters this room, you get your attacks. So you see that Clark is holding his shield out in front of him. The wolf is at his side, and two goblins are making for cover. Rykard, Elric, you have advantage because they have not spotted you. I'll say you get yours goes off first because you held before Rykard did. So who do you want to aim at?
The bugbear.
Might as well go for the big guy.
Okay. Go ahead, make a straight roll. He is taking the dodge action.
A straight. Okay. 19.
19, but it's not enough. He's holding his shield out in front, but he can't see where to take it from. Go where to block from, as he hasn't noticed you. Go ahead and roll your damage, but you do not get sneak attack on this.
Alrighty. So it's just the basic.
Yep. So it is a D6 plus your Dex modifier.
Oh, that's max damage. That's 9.
9. Okay. So he's running into the room, and the first thing is that an arrow comes up from under his shield and stabs him, and he roars out, "Ah! Who dares defy Clarg?" And he sees all of you in front, Trenton, Orion, and Rykard. He glares at each of you, and Elric, as you stepped out to attack him, he has also noticed you. All right, and Rykard, you get your hand axe throw. Who do you want to aim at?
I'll also throw it at Clark.
Okay, you have disadvantage because he's dodging right now. So go ahead and roll attack with disadvantage. Oh wait, actually, you're yeah, it's a hand axe. Yeah, you're good.
Yeah, so I think that's 17 with disadvantage.
Okay, what did you roll? What were your two rolls?
13 and 11. So
13 and 11, and 11 plus.
Yeah, that's 17.
All right. You also manage to get past his guard. Go ahead and roll damage.
8 damage. 8 damage.
8 damage. So he takes another attack from the other side, and a hand axe buries itself in the side of his chest, and he's looking hurt. All right. The goblins do manage to make it into cover, but they're not able to hide this round. And Clarg and the wolf looks like they've got an eye on Rykard, who is the first to hit them. Relir, your turn.
All right, you said the goblins have
The goblins have separated to either side of the door, and Clarg and the wolf are standing in the middle of it.
How far is either side of the door?
Let's see. Sleep is a 20-foot radius, right? You could just catch them both in it.
All right, then sleep. I go ahead and roll my 5d8. Come on, stop being mean to my d8s. 24.
Damn, I was hoping you would get less than that, because here's what happens. As you raise it up from your position on the ground, both of the goblins who are moving to go into cover fall asleep. Also, Clarg, who has taken a couple of hits and has the next lowest health after the goblins. You see him go drowsy and woozy, and the shield drops, and he also face plants on the ground and begins to snore loudly.
Very nice.
Good job.
Orion, you're up.
Well, I have the Molotov left, so I'm going to throw it at the wolf.
Okay. Go ahead and make a dexterity check.
17.
17 hits the wolf, who's already taken, you can see, burn damage on one side, and now it is hit again, and the Molotov explodes against it. Well, not explodes. It breaks against it and covers it in fire, and this wolf is looking very, very hurt as it's just burning its side, and it's yelping and nudging at Clark to try and wake him up. Elric or Orion, anything else you want to do? Because you've got bonus action and movement yet.
Can I just say to our teammates, tie Clark up?
Yep. All right, Elric.
I mean, I was going to crush his skull.
Yeah, I'm just going to shoot. I'm just going to shoot an arrow straight into Clark's head.
Okay, so this roll is a straight roll. He is unconscious. Wait. No, it's advantage. Let me make sure of this. I think actually this would still be unconscious. Attack rolls against the creature have advantage. Okay, so this is a straight roll because he is unconscious, so you have advantage, but he's prone, so you have disadvantage. So straight roll.
Alrighty. 17.
17. Go ahead and roll damage.
Alrighty. The damage is just regular?
The damage, right. So a d6 plus your dex. 7. He takes an arrow in the side and wakes up. And he's angry and he's looking around and he sees you, the one who's hit him with 2 of these attacks now. And he's starting to push himself up to his feet. Rykard.
How far away is Clark?
He's about 15, 20 feet away from you.
Can I use my movement to get up to him?
You absolutely can.
I'm gonna take 2 attacks using my action surge.
Okay. So go ahead and roll your first attack. This is at advantage because he is prone.
First one hits. Natural 18.
Natural 18. All right. Go ahead and roll damage.
Boys, we made a plan that
6
actually
damage.
worked.
How do you want to do this?
Yay!
Yes.
Would you like to describe your kill?
Yeah. Yeah, I want to just, with my hammer, hit him so hard in the back of the head, it just kind of falls off.
You go and you basically, like swinging a golf club, you swing and his head just is knocked off of his neck and goes flying somewhere into the northern end of this cavern.
It's just Wii Sports.
So while he was prone and getting up, his head was like right at golf ball height, and you just swang and just sent it flying into the hole in one.
Okay, question.
Yes, answer.
Did I use up my action surge because I didn't use my
Right. So that's why I was saying you did not use up your action surge, but right next to you there is a very heavily damaged wolf with not so many hit points. If you would care to take a swing at it. Okay, so you reach deep into your reserves of strength and make a second strike against the wolf that was next to Clark.
22.
How do you want to do this?
Don't do
Yeah. So much better than last week.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, he's gone.
No, he's not.
Yeah, you take out the wolf. You want to
Middle of the
describe
spine.
All right, yep.
Just fold into from the impact.
Mm-hmm. So this wolf, who's pretty much preoccupied with trying to gnaw at the fire that's on its side, is just cracked in two. Trenton, there are still a couple of unconscious goblins that are lying on the ground nearby.
Just top of my head.
Yeah, I'm still holding this lit Molotov, so I gotta throw it. So I'm gonna throw the one at the one closest to me.
Okay. Dexterity check.
13.
13 splashes on the goblin and he lights on fire and wakes up screaming his head off. What do you do?
I move in close to it.
Okay, so you move into melee range with this goblin who's on fire. All right. It sees you running up and it gets to its feet. And it disengages from you and runs back into the tunnel that it came from, still on fire and trying to pat itself out as it runs away. Relir.
Can I still see that goblin?
The goblin that was on fire is now out of sight.
Out of sight.
Mm-hmm.
There's another goblin in the room.
There is one other unconscious goblin on the opposite side of the door.
I'm gonna hold my action for when the second goblin wakes up. I will hit it with a ray of frost or attack with a ray of frost.
I imagine you stand up.
Yeah, I'm getting out prone.
Laying down.
Yep. Saves aren't at disadvantage while prone, so yeah. So you go ahead, you stand up, and you ready a ray of frost for if the other goblin wakes up. Orion. So there's one goblin that's run off and one who's sleeping like a baby.
It's the one that's sleeping right next to me.
He is not too far away.
I can reach it.
Yep.
So I'm going to walk over there and then hit it with my one-handed warhammer.
All right. Go ahead and make an attack roll at advantage, and I believe this will, because he is unconscious and this is melee range, if you hit, this will be a crit. So conditions, unconscious, any attack that hits the creature is a critical if you are within 5 feet of it. So, yep.
This kid is why we.
You have advantage to hit. In fact, I could probably waive that as he's asleep. You get but go ahead and roll anyways.
It's not like he's exactly dodging.
Yeah. I know. The rules are a bit weird, but technically your AC does not go down even if you're unconscious.
It's calm.
I think it's because your AC is mostly based on your armor. With monks, that can be a bit weird.
16.
16. Yeah, you hit. How do you want to do this? With a crit, you definitely got him.
That's with advantage though, right? So the 16 is with advantage.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm just saying you crit because it is a melee attack while he is unconscious.
Yep.
It's a feature of the unconscious condition. Melee attacks are crits on unconscious creatures.
I'm going to. Well, it's a warhammer, so there's no other way than like smashing it open like a watermelon.
Yep, you crack it open like a watermelon.
Jeez.
All right, Elric.
All right, I just want to take one last shot at that goblin that's running away.
Can't see him.
Can't see him? All right, if I run up, will I be able to see him? You know?
You can run as both an action and a bonus action, and your movement could you run and you get all the way up to the entrance. You're near the entrance of Clark's cavern, and you can see the goblins just ahead of you.
All right.
But that was your bonus action and action to get that far.
Move action, you said.
Yep, it was your movement,
So-
and then if you dash as an action and a bonus action, you're just behind him. But you had to move across the entire cavern because you were on the opposite end.
So I've just got an action left. Is he?
No, you've got nothing left. I'm saying you've got 30 feet. You had to get across a 60-foot chamber, which first of all was filled with a lot of obstacles, and up another 30 to 50 feet of tunnel to where Clark is, and the goblin started right next to that door. So you have not caught up to him, even if you use your action, your bonus action, and your movement all to move.
But I can't see him.
You can see him. He's ahead of you by a bit.
Just use the movement action and bonus action.
Okay, if you don't use all that, you don't even get close enough to see him.
Okay, then
using just a single dash, you'll get to the entrance of going up the stairs, the exit of the waterfall room. That's as far as you can get if you use your movement and a dash. But as a rogue, you can dash twice. So I'm saying, if you want to get to where the goblin is, that's what you'd have to do.
Okay. Might as well.
Okay. So you get up. You're about 10 or 15 feet behind him at this point.
And I can't do anything like intimidation.
You can yell at him.
Stop violating the law.
I want to do my best Clark impression.
Okay. Rykard.
I just told him to go.
The one who speaks perfect English.
So there's nothing left in this room that's living other than friends, right?
Right.
Supposedly.
Oh, I know exactly.
There could be still more goblins in this cave that we
Don't
don't know about.
Hear me like that. I don't have eyesight here.
Eyesight.
Where did he run off to?
He ran up towards what Elric had described to you as Clark's cave. Clark's cavern.
Okay.
This guy's seriously not paying attention at all.
Well, since like I said, I don't have eyesight here, I'm gonna look around for goblins.
Okay, go ahead and make a perception check.
I don't know, they're all gone.
All right, go ahead, roll perception for me. Eight. Outside of the radius of the torch, it's just pitch black. You're not seeing anything, and you can hear the waterfall, and you can hear the fighting as the din is beginning to has just ceased to echo amongst the cave. But you don't see anything. You don't see any goblins. You don't see anything that causes you worry.
Okay.
Darkness.
Okay, yeah. and just in the ground on the ground in front of you is Clark and the wolf, and blood is beginning to pool around their bodies. All right, Trenton.
Okay, I like to use my movement to go after the goblin that went running.
Okay. You use your movement and you get up near where Elric is, just 10 or 15 feet behind this goblin.
Okay, I like to throw my hand axe at it.
Go ahead, make an attack roll. Nine. Sails past his side. All right, you both see this goblin, seeing you, it turns around to look at you and then scrambles towards the back of the room, and it seems like he pulls a crate aside, and then you just see him disappear.
Well, I'm following that.
You run over to where you saw him disappear, and there's a small hidey hole that just continues into darkness, and you can hear him scrambling further in it.
Can I somehow glean where this hole might lead?
Seems to be moving down.
Should we catch him?
Well, he's running away and he's still on fire, so I think we're good.
Yeah, Clark is dead.
No that's right. This one was a little bit on fire, so you do see a bit of smoke coming out of this hole.
Question: How long does it remain on fire?
It's the 1 round of damage.
All right. So it's basically the equivalent of a Dark Souls firebomb.
It's basically the equivalent of throwing oil on someone and lighting it on fire.
The wolf razors should always carry.
It's just that it happens. It's just that it happens simultaneously.
Yeah, I'd say we're good, and if he survives, I don't think we're gonna have much of a problem.
Well, our leader is going to go start cutting all the ears off the goblin that are around, just for proof that we actually did this mission and killed some goblins, because proof is good. Also, some stuff off of the wolf and the bugbear.
Yeah, I'm gonna see what.
I'm gonna grab the bugbear's head and toss it to Rykard. Rykard.
Oh yeah, that's his trophy. Dude,
It's pretty heavily impacted on the one side of the face. The cheekbones and the jawbone on that side are just shattered.
Yeah. I mean, it could always be just like a wicked trophy, just something tied to your hip, the hip.
Just show the left side of his face, and that'll be good. You don't need to show the.
What kind of weapon was he wielding?
He was wielding a Morning Star, is what it says, but really what you see is just this giant spiked wooden club.
Okay. It was like wielding a sword or a spear, just stick it on that, so I don't think I can do that with a club. Yeah, just hold it by the hair and then continue on into the throne room and see what's
Actually,
in there.
Okay, so you
Philip go down the hidey hole to go see if that goblin died.
What's that?
Can I have Philip go down that hidey hole and see if the goblin died?
Yeah. You can do that.
Right. We're doing that.
Okay. Philip enters into the cavern, into the hole, and makes his way down, and starts to see a light coming at the bottom of this tunnel, exits, and is just surrounded by brush. You can see that there is a little bit of this bloody trail that's been left behind that disappears into the brush.
Does it look like heavy bleeding or just light bleeding?
It's just light. Most of the damage this goblin had taken was fire damage, so it's not heavily bleeding.
Could I make an intelligence check to see if it could have died just of like that?
You're not sure. It was badly injured by the Molotov. It was a little bit still on fire as it was running away. But Philip doesn't see anything.
Maybe
so you're not sure.
Burning goblin.
We smell it.
Well, Philip return from now and just go back to cutting off evidence as of our mission. And then pointing to everyone else that it'd probably be good to start moving the crates back to the wagon we have.
You do notice that a number of these crates are marked with that same white shield emblazoned with a blue lion of the Lion Shield Coster, who had granted you that horse and crate in order to retrieve their supplies specifically. There are a number of other crates though. Some unmarked, some marked with other companies that none of you recognize.
Is there any money laying around that I can grab?
There is some money out on the table where Clark and the goblins had been playing the game. Just some copper and silver scattered.
I'm taking it. I'm taking it all.
Can we go through the crates?
Yeah, go ahead.
I'll go through all the unmarked crates.
Okay, so you all begin to search around the crates, and in a corner of the room, behind some of the larger crates, you do find a medium-sized chest.
Let's open it up.
I go over and I try and get it.
And I imagine you are all kind of searching this area, so you all see this chest that's been discovered as your party calls out.
I'm gonna go
As you open the chest, you cast a 9th level fireball.
If I die, y'all pick me up.
All right, who's opening it?
I will.
All right, you go ahead and you open the chest, and nothing happens. But inside, you see a vast portion of copper and silver coins that are just piled up in this chest, as well as there's kind of a case set against the side and a small kind of cloth pouch that's set in the middle.
Oh yeah, I pull those 2 items out and I grab the box and I hand the pouch to whoever's closest to me.
Okay, this is kind of a heavy chest. What did you pull out?
The box. You said there was a box like leaning.
There. Yep. There's kind of like a leather case in there and a small cloth pouch.
I pull that out and I hand the cloth pouch to Trenton. I say, "Let's open it up. Let's see what's in them."
Sounds good. I'll open up the cloth pouch.
Inside the cloth pouch, there is this small miniature of a jade frog with golden eyes.
Oh, look at this ugly thing.
No, that's worth a pretty penny. I can tell you that much. Right, I open my little leather.
Elric, from your experience with a little bit of fencing in your time, you do get a pretty good idea of what this would be worth. It's worth about 40 gold.
Can I do like a history or some check on it to see if I recognize if it symbolizes anything or if it's just like a pretty object?
Go ahead, roll a history check.
That's a natural 19.
Natural 19. No identifying marks on it.
That's 24.
Okay. No identifying marks on it. You know that the style of this is not very modern. Seems like it might have been made a long time ago and just was kept in a good condition.
I start to open my little leather box pouch thing.
Okay. Inside, there are 2 vials filled with a warm red liquid you recognize as potions of healing.
Dang.
So there are 2 potions of healing inside this leather case.
Okay.
I'm going to take one.
How full was the chest when we first opened it?
It was pretty full. Seemed like there was room for more, but you gather that this is Clark's kind of stash of the best of the best that's been taken.
I'm gonna gesture for everyone to put all the loot inside the chest so we can just carry the chest out in one piece.
Okay.
Instead of like taking
I took my potion of health in my little shirt pocket.
Okay. I'm just going to go ahead and tell you guys, imagining that you've taken the time to kind of count it out, and also just based on the weight of the chest, I'm just going to go ahead and tell you this in gold, which is going to seem low, but it's filled with a lot of copper and silver. It's the equivalent of 18 gold in copper and silver.
Wow.
In total?
18 gold in total in copper and silver.
Okay.
And the jade statue, Elric knows, is worth about 40 gold. The potions of healing are worth a lot to any adventurers. if you cared to sell them.
I'm gonna hold on to one, decide whether I want to keep it for myself or sell it, and then you all decide what we do with the other one. Honestly, I'm not necessarily part of your group, and I don't know if I'm gonna stick with you after this is over, but have fun. What are you guys planning on doing now?
Fine, get the potion. You don't
As you all see him pocket a potion of healing that's worth probably more than the rest of what's in here combined.
Very casual.
In the chest.
What's your guys' next plan? I just need to go report back to the company that just wanted me to investigate this place. What are you going to be doing?
Well, you have just pocketed two very ornate items. Well, at least one of them.
I only pocketed one. Y'all can have all the gold. I don't need it.
And what about that potion of healing?
Yeah, that's mine.
You seem to have take all the good stuff for yourself. I see how it is.
No, just one of the good stuff. Y'all have the other one.
You say that. I guess we are tasked to move all of this, and which might be a bit of an onerous task, but must be done. We'll probably scout the rest of the cave while we're at it to make sure there are no extra goblins in here. Take them out if necessary.
I'm gonna write to my employer. We're ready to give this note to him. I just write down a thing saying cleared goblins out, and like very much lying about what I found, and they're just saying there's just some stuff that a trade company needed, and then some crates worth of uselessness. That was it.
Okay. Everyone's done right.
Elric, I think we hadn't talked about this specifically. What company you're working for? I think I was hoping to use this to tie you in to the rest of this adventure.
Yeah,
you are working for the Lion Shields.
I am? Okay.
So the Lion Shield family is a merchant company that's based further to the east. You were tasked with discovering where their shipments that were being raided have gone to. And so upon having found these crates, their shipments, your task is complete with them.
Alright.
Although it would not be remiss of you to make sure that these crates are returned to the Lion Shield Coster and Phandalin.
Alright, so I'll be joining these people for a little longer. Willingly, at least.
I'm going to go around where we have been and cut all of the ears and extra parts that might need as proof from the goblins.
Any ear will
to
do.
show that well, you get it. Just evidence that we have killed these goblins.
Is the wolf's head mainly unburned?
Who cares about the wolf's head?
Yes.
All right, I'm gonna take the wolf's head.
Okay.
Orion, want to help me get these crates and chests out of here?
Yeah, let's get those stuff out of here.
Yeah.
Where did the human
Use
go?
the torch to cauterize the dead wound and just place the wolf's head on the side while I help them move the crates.
Lovely.
I'm wondering, what do the human that we saved have gone?
You left him outside.
Yeah. I think
He rested with you and seemed to have fallen asleep when you guys were making your bonfire.
All right.
Okay, so do we just say we got all that we needed and head back? Or are we just going to do a quick scout of the cave first? Who wants to do that?
I'm done with this cave. I'm going to go check on the sleepy guy and then come back over.
Does anyone else want to help me just run through the cave real quick, just make sure everything's clear?
I'm going with the rogue.
All right.
I'll come with you.
Okay, good. Alright, so me and Orion, I just cut off the ears for evidence and just take a stroll through the cave, just kind of cautious of any extra goblins that might be in there.
Okay. You make your way through the rest of the cave. It seems that all the areas in this cave you have explored. You head back, you take a peek around Clark's cavern, you head back to the waterfall room, you head over to the goblin den, and everything connects back to the main passage. Doesn't seem to be any other exits or entrances, and you find no other goblin living. There are plenty of corpses.
All right, and go ahead, Orion.
I'm just saying we see a lot of corpses with of goblins with their ears missing.
Yes.
And also, would it have been possible with Philip that I had some sort of idea of where that hidey hole came out?
Yes. Seems to have come out to the east of the entrance to the cave.
Orion, if you'll put up with me for a bit longer, then would you mind if I have a general idea of where that goblin came out of its hidey hole, and I want to see if it died nearby?
Cool. I'll follow you. Lead the way.
We have Philip check out the area.
Okay. So you kind of make your way through the dense briars that are at the sides of these caverns. It's slow going as they're pulling at your clothing, and you eventually meet up with your weasel, this small hole that's kind of hidden in the brush that exits the side of this hill.
Was this long enough for me to take a short rest?
If you weren't helping at all with the crates, you could have exited the cave and taken a short rest.
Oh, I thought Orion helped me with the crates, and then they decided to go.
Oh yeah, it's coming up on it. Sure, you're all resting right now, so I'll get back to you in a little bit with when that's gone through. You all begin to rest, except for Orion and Relir, who are scouting out this hole.
And I wanted to check on the human guy who just kind of left out there alone.
Yep. You find him back at the cart. Seems like he's taken a portion of one of the healing kits that was left there and bandaged up the rest of his wounds that weren't healed by Orion. And he sees you approach and he says, "Is it done? Are they dead?"
Yeah, I just hold up the wolf's head. It's pretty done. Back in my belt. So we're gonna go move the crates now, and you're gonna help.
All right. He gets up and begins to help you move the crates. He lights a torch. He borrows from one of you to make sure that he can see in this cave.
I just start moving the crates. No rest for the wicked.
All right. So Orion and Relir, you found the exit of the hole. It is a fair distance away from the mouth of the cavern.
Do we know where the goblin have gone?
Go ahead and roll survival to see if you can follow any tracks.
Could I get an advantage on that since you said I saw a light blood trail with the weasel earlier?
You do see the blood trail. This is to try and follow that trail. So you do point out that trail, and Orion, you begin looking around that area specifically. Yes, go ahead and make your roll with advantage.
All right.
Both with advantage?
So a wisdom survival with advantage.
I got a 13 with my advantage.
Well, Orion's the one who said she was looking around. I thought you were giving her advantage.
I rolled 2 ones, so
Okay.
+4
right.
is 5.
You look around and you search around and you start to lose this blood trail, and you do not find any. You do not find the goblin's body in the area.
I go trot over to them because I'm genuinely just curious. Any news on the goblin thing?
We seem to have lost the trail. I think I'll send Philip out for just one last smell test. see if you can smell its body or its blood, but I don't know if I'll find anything. I'm pretty sure it's long gone at this rate.
I'll look too.
All right.
Gonna
The
look.
both of you head out.
Oh
Philip
my
and Elric.
God.
Yep.
No more luck finding the trail than the other two.
Stupid.
All right.
Goblin.
I just head back and
Finally.
finish with the last few crates. Well, I'd take a short rest while they finish with the last few crates.
The crates have been done for a while now.
Oh, they have? I thought
Yeah,
they were
me and
new.
Oregon.
Yep,
did
there were
it
only
before
there were
y'all
only
went out.
about 5 or 6 crates emblazoned with the lion shield. So if you take those first, there's some left over, but
I say we look through the leftover crate.
Yeah. I'm taking a short rest.
you'd find just different leathers and cloths and material goods, like some adventuring gear, some pouches, some trade goods like salts, and that's about it. Nothing of great value to you, but it would be of value to like a township and a tradesman.
All right, I'll probably put some of that in my backpack.
I take anything that's worth like 10 gold or more. And put
Yeah,
it
if
in.
there's any particular.
In bulk, it might be worth up to a couple of gold, but
Then 10 silver. So
you find some wheat and some flour in one of the crates.
I just get any salts and preservatives, things like that I can sell to a town or farmer.
Okay.
You guys are
Desperate.
great.
I take any particularly good-looking leather.
All right.
I'm gonna take back my crossbow from the human that was asleep.
Sure. He hands it over.
He goes, no. Alright, so I guess we head back with our crates and materials.
I reckon we'd head back with spoils.
All right. So you begin to maneuver the cart and the horse back onto the narrow goblin trail, back towards the Tribord trail that leads to Phandalin. It's starting to push into the evening as you're making your way along the Tribord trail. Sildar kind of begins to talk with you all and get an idea of what's happened since his capture. So it's just so what's happened? Exactly. Have you found Gundren?
No, he's been taken somewhere else, a castle, they said.
Yeah, I
Don't remember the name
remember.
of it.
Although they mostly spoke Goblin, I did hear mention of a Cragmaw castle a number of times, and seemed like their leader, the leader of the Cragmaws, is there. But I don't think it didn't. This seems odd for goblins. I'm not sure
Well, they
if
might have
he's
told him
if
to drop it.
he gave the orders, but I think he's taking them from someone as well. I heard mention of a black spider seemed to refer to someone that their king was taking orders from.
Is that the name of another goblin
Maybe
tribe?
Not to be rude,
It seemed to refer to an individual.
but hey, why are you important? I was kind of not paying attention.
Well, I was with Gundren, who had hired these adventurers. Were you not with their group?
Not initially. I was hired as the second party, as less retriever, more of an investigator.
Okay. But they had been hired by Gundren to bring some supplies of his that he needed to Phandalin. And I happened to be heading that way, and we just kind of partied up. We were then attacked and ambushed by goblins on the road, and they took both of us prisoner in that cave. They seemed to be really interested in what Gundren knew about a mine. And particularly interested in a map that he had of this mine.
Gundren's a dwarf, right?
Yes, Gundren is a
Okay.
dwarf.
Well, that explains
Well, dwarves are known for
everything.
mining, perhaps. He, knew the location of a good mining mine.
Yeah, goblins aren't really miners though, so I don't really know what their interest in this mine is.
Oh, they could
The
branch.
goblins might be mining, but there could be a higher power. This black spider is not particularly interesting. Would my character know about like the Underdark races? Because I know there's like some. I know as a player now there's like an Underdark spider race.
Yeah, I am very scholarly. I know Undercommon. I could probably know a little bit too.
Okay.
Dwarf from 10 towns.
Yeah, and if I know anything about goblins,
Does anyone have a criminal background?
I do.
I have a charlatan background.
I have
Okay. Elric, is your background criminal or charlatan?
It's very criminal.
It's criminal. Okay, you go ahead and roll a history check for me, Elric.
Okay. +2. 16.
16. You have heard a little bit about this black spider. You don't know much. You just know that he seems to be a power in the area. You've heard him talked about in criminal circles before as being very powerful, very patient, and bloodthirsty.
I recognize the name Black Spider. When I rolled my mercenary group, we would take some black market jobs, and the spider guy, would be somewhat involved, but minorly, like a string puller kind of thing. The only thing I know about him is that he makes plans, he's patient, and he's powerful and dangerous. But otherwise, he's a mystery. So, and if I know anything about goblins, then if they're doing something out of character, they're doing it out of fear. So
you think this Black Hand is employing goblins to acquire this map?
I think he's using them as a means to overtly get what he wants.
To be fair, we're also being used to get what someone else wants.
Yeah, but we're being hired. I have a feeling that these goblins aren't getting paid.
They're most likely being paid with their lives.
But
were.
Trust me.
Be helping goblins to go free. We should free goblins.
I've got no love for goblins.
I don't particularly have anything against them, but they always seem to rile up trouble.
Perhaps we'll be able to learn more from Tharden and Nundro, the Gundren's brothers. We might be able to find them. I'm not sure where they're holed up, but I know that they're all based in Phandalin.
Well, that's a quest for another day. Tonight, we drink.
And listen, guys, if you're all planning on helping our employer with this Black Spider thing, I don't know if I'll be a part of it. It'd have to be a good reason for me to join up.
Well, that would be for you to decide.
Well, you can always take the crates back yourself to your employer. You know, you can just go outside or over here and be done.
He could do that, but then he'd make off like a fat rat, getting two quite good getting paid out of our cut.
There's no way he's getting paid out of our cut. He took the potion already. That's his payment.
Yes, I'd say the trigger in this potion is a good payment.
I'm getting my own payment, but
exactly.
Exactly.
I'm a second party with y'all.
Come if you like, leave if you want. Either way, we have a job to do.
Indeed. But I think tonight we're all going to have quite a bit of fun.
Agreed. I'm up for some more arm wrestling.
I have to thank you all for coming to my rescue. Unfortunately, the goblins pilfered all that I have, including my sword. But I'll be able to secure a loan in town, I'm sure, and I'd pay you tomorrow for your work. Well done.
Hey, I'll another 5 silver in you if you find Gunn's brothers and bring them to the tavern tonight.
I'll see what I hear.
All right, you guys all show up for the cavern, and it's good as yours.
All right, you all continue down the Tribord Trail and reach Phandalin just as it's getting towards dusk. And I think that's where we're going to end for tonight, with us back in Phandalin. If you guys don't have anything to do, we can just say that you went over to the inn and began a long